welcome, everybody. We are. I'm so excited for this episode. This is the Top Shelf. We are playing The Company, but specifically, this is the finale to Resident Evil Catalyst, a three-part series with a rules-light system written by Logan Dean, which is absolutely superb, but also it's the first time the Top Shelf has really gotten into, hey, can we make full-ass campaigns out of this shit? So, with little books in mind, I very much have been enjoying the answer. We'll just jump right into it while I fix the chat box over my name there, and we'll start with player intros. We'll go top right with red, white, RP. We'll move all the way around clockwise, and finish off with our lovely Dr. Davis up at the top there. But feel free, tell us yourself, tell us your character, where we last left them, and what you're drinking.
Hello, lovely people. My name is Rowan, or Red White RP, in the internet places. My pronouns are they, she, and tonight I am playing Josiah Harkman, a soldier whose pronouns are he, him. Last we left him, he got punched a lot by Albert Wesker, thrown down a staircase, and exploded. Which is a better fate than my first character. So, yay for that. Tonight I am drinking Clase Azul. It is a tequila that comes in this bottle.
Oh, that's super
That's
cool.
so
Fucking
pretty.
love that. It's gorgeous.
Right?
Stunning.
I want to turn it into a lamp when it's empty.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Anyways, I'm done. That's me.
Hi, y'all. I am Legendary Vermin. Tonight I am reprising my role as Portia McLaren. Last time we saw Portia, she had been infected with probably Las Plagas and the other thing. I shot a man who was trying to help me, hopped into a helicopter, and then the man I shot blew us out of the sky. So I think that's what we call A for effort.
God damn. I actually forgot how intense the ending of this was in all
It
of
was
the gritty detail.
wild.
Very curious to know where Theo's at right now.
Oh, yes. So, about that. Let's see. Last I remember, I was dragging Dr. Davis out of a bad situation. Yeah. I'm not going to do that again after what she did. Because I have been informed that I was the test subject for God knows what, and ended up, in the lab when they exploded. Oh, I forgot. I'm Shock Point Failure. I'm playing Theodore Armel, the local borderline sane medic that used to keep these idiots alive. Now he doesn't really care all that much. Thanks, Dr. Davis.
You're welcome.
And on the front of what I'm drinking, I am drinking an unholy abomination of vodka, rum, and Monster.
But in a nice glass. So top
very
marks
nice
are
glass.
there. All right, Meg, fill us in.
Hello, everybody. I am Meg Mysteria, and I am playing the person that everybody hates, Dr. Lord Davis, who has subsequently gotten people killed or infected them herself. So, last we saw her, she was getting in the same helicopter as Portia with Wesker and Excella, and they were trying to fly off before Josiah's partner subsequently did blow us out of the sky. So wherever the hell we are is wherever the hell we are. As for what I'm drinking, it's the same thing I usually drink. It's sweet tea and peach whiskey. So
Very good. And I am Mads, your host for the evening. I am drinking something relatively tame, considering it is pie and beer day in Utah, but I'm saving that for after the show. So this is just 2 shots of espresso and some creme brulee coffee creamer.
No shame.
Yeah.
sounds good.
No, it's tasty. It's going to keep me awake. But yeah, so let's fill in the details around all of these stories. These guys ended up relocated. Well, except for Josiah. These three, Dr. Davis, Theo, and Portia, all ended up relocated to a secondary undisclosed tri-cell facility in the middle of the Washington forests. And during this period of time, Portia, having been infected with the virus and not being too keen on being stuck inside because Tricell didn't want her to disclose all of the troubles involved in the last facility, have been keeping her basically under house arrest. In doing so, she had some kind of exterior privileges. She managed to make it to town once or twice, and one of these times she managed to escape her guard. Just briefly enough to make contact with some kind of SOS signal, enough for the BSAA to be privy to her location. Enter Josiah Harkman and his fearless, or maybe just handless partner, who came in and tried to exfil Dr. Davis and Portia out of there, along with their research. This did not go well, because it was the day that Wesker and Excella decided to show up to collect some research from Dr. Davis. Hence the helicopter leaving. They were on their way out with Wesker and Excella at the point that our fantastic handless man decided to call in an airstrike from the awaiting BSAA helicopter, and air-to-air blew it out of the sky, sending it careening into the wood. We pick up immediately after that. Dr. Davis and Portia wake up scattered a little bit of a distance, 10, 15 feet throw from the wreckage of a still burning helicopter. You can see the horrible pyre of what was the facility illuminating off through the wood. And above you stands Josiah Harkman, waking you both up. You, Josiah, were sent back fairly quickly to investigate this wreckage because you knew prime targets, not just Davis and Portia, but Wesker and Excella were on that helicopter crash. Upon leaving with a secondary BSA agent, the trek on foot was not pleasant, and you have already lost your partner. You are familiar with the fact that there are things or something that is causing problems in these woods right now, post the destruction of the Tricell facility. So it's a little bit important to you to be getting people up and out of there. And having surveyed the scene before waking these two up, Excella and Wesker are both gone, as well as any weapons that both Davis and Portia were carrying. As you guys wake up, you have nothing really of any use on you, and Josiah is the only relatively friendly face for miles. The sun is setting. There is the beginning of what looks like could be cloud cover. And other than that, it's about to be a bad time. What y'all doing?
All right, you two, get up. We have to start moving. We have to get out of here before nightfall if we can. There's whatever fucked up things you were working on in that place. They're free, and they're out here with us.
Branching back in the distance.
Miss McLaren, if I give you a gun, are you gonna shoot the doctor?
She didn't inject me. I won't shoot her. I don't.
All right, I'll hand you a pistol.
Just very.
Oh, yay! Gun plus one.
Turn
Nice.
to Dr. Davis. Only got the one, other than the assault rifle I'm carrying.
But you can't have that. No, just...
Yeah, no, this one's mine. This is my baby.
Davis doesn't seem to be paying too much attention to the logistics of that, or even the fact that you just handed Portia a gun, despite the fact that Portia is a very high chance of actually killing her, is more preoccupied with the actual wreck of the helicopter and is stumbling in what is likely a broken heel and broken heel of her shoe and at very minimum a rolled ankle and this lovely
Dr. Davis, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Where did they go?
Well, your friends? That fucking Superman?
Superman. That is Dr. Wesker and Excella.
Portia lifts her head at Superman.
That's
God
Albert
damn it.
Wesker. Okay.
Damn it. And she probably can't get too close to the wreckage because everything is obviously on fire
Still
and
on
destroyed
fire.
and is.
Well, they're
It's-
gone.
God.
They're not dead. They're gone.
And searching herself, her own pockets, and kind of taking inventory on what she's got. Damn it, they took everything.
Everything. What did they take?
My research, the samples, the antivirals, all of it.
Shit.
When you say antivirals, I think Portia has held it together for a very long time. And when you say you lost the antivirals, there's just this look of shock and she starts crying.
We gave Portia her dose at the beginning of last session, didn't we?
I don't think we ever did.
No, she was dosed.
Yeah.
Ashcroft
Dosed?
You
did
came
dose
in-
her.
Ashcroft
Okay.
gave her the dose because that was the start of the session. You were brought
Mhm.
into the lab and
But
given your physical.
it's been feasibly about 2.5 hours since then.
How regularly does she need to be?
About every
dosed?
6 to be... Well, realistically, you know, Dr. Davis, about every 4 to be comfortably safe. About every 6 is the window of kind of margin of error that you've provided via research. You would be real wary to want to let things go beyond 6 hours.
So yeah, Portia is just kind of like not holding a gun like you hold a gun, but just like cradling a gun and like sitting on a log and is like quietly sobbing.
Oh. It's okay. Just like awkwardly pats her on the shoulder.
Oh, no.
Am I gonna die? Am I gonna die like Theo?
Jesus, you won't die as long as we can get to a facility. I can recreate everything.
Well,
You
In the
have
middle of
you have a
nowhere.
unit nearby, right? Josiah. You can't
I
quite possibly be the only BSAA agent lurking in this woods.
if I can get us somewhere clear enough, I can call in a helicopter, but it's a lot of not right now, not with all the tree coverage. We need to get
Yes.
out of the woods.
Oh fuck.
We need that research though.
Oh god.
Well, like I said, and like you probably saw, it's gone. We don't know where they went. So, if you want the research, you have to get me out of here so that I can recreate it and get Portia her dose so she doesn't lose it.
I cry harder when you say that.
I'll go up to Dr. Davis and whisper, how long does she have?
And I'm checking her watch that's probably
Busted.
busted.
At least cracked.
At the very least cracked. It's like
Watches are surly
gave
for some
her-
reason. They survive.
We gave her her dose before you showed up. So that's been what, a couple of hours?
2.5.
Okay. The security blanket is 6 hours at the latest. After that, she has a very high chance of mutating. And
Portia, up to this point, it was just an emotional, like, this is a lot. But this is not getting a whole lot better for you in conversation. I'm not going to make you roll burnout, but go ahead and take a stress for all this.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to move. We need to try and find somewhere clear to call in transport. Get you two to a lab. Miss McLaren, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure you are okay. All right? Need you sharp right now, though. We are not alone in these woods.
Josiah. Oh, sorry.
we're not alone. What does that mean? Did something survive?
Whatever you were fucking with back in that facility.
That
Some of
doesn't
it's
narrow it down any, dear. More description, please.
there are things in here. There are things in the woods now. Things that got out. I don't know. They're fast, and I came in here with someone else. They got him.
Fantastic.
Josiah, having been helicoptered into this location prior, you know the facility faces eastward if you are looking at your compass, which is currently burning. In theory, you could pass over and around around the facility grounds and continue on that direction. There is civilization out that way. Or you can head south. Either way is an option, but everything north and... Oh god, what... Did I just say the facility was west?
You said it was east.
East. Okay, thank God. I was right. Okay, everything north and east... god damn it. North and west... Doing good. North and west is just trees for miles. So you functionally have two directions you know you could travel. You have a compass. You can keep at least in a straight direction, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot of info you have on these rolling forest hills.
Is there any way to look at the tracks and see which way Wesker and the other one whose name I'm blanking on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they went?
Go ahead and give me a... Let's see.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's make this just a search roll straight.
Sure, I can do that. Remind me how to do things when I don't have any points in them.
If you don't
You
have...
just roll one.
Mm-hmm.
I think, don't you roll 2 and take the lower?
No, you roll one, but whatever the result, you move down.
Tiered down.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, rolled a 6, so I think that's a...
It was a failure, so that puts you into critical failure zone.
Oh, good.
So
that's exactly what I wanted.
You start looking around for tracks, and as you do, two stress for you. I'm not going to start this immediately off with a burnout, but go ahead and take those. As you're looking around, you start to find tracks, just like muddled around this helicopter as it starts to rain. And it starts to pour rain. And what you thought was about to be a good lead is very quickly just mud because of the size of these drops and the impact and the just destroying any option you had to follow.
Incredible. Love that. All right, well, east feels like that's where the most monsters are going to be, because that's where the facility was. So south it is then.
South it is. Okay, you three begin walking. Vision is obscured. Two of you have flashlights, some kind of light on you, but whatever sunset was there is now not doing well. It's basically dark regardless, and you are weaving your way through trees, guided by naught but a compass and some direction to you. Before you start to hear, just briefly, you could swear you hear branches breaking, which, in this amount of rain, big branches.
We have to hurry.
Picking up pace?
Yes.
Okay, pace quickens. You guys continue to barrel forward. As fast as your injured selves will take you, Josiah himself not being super well off at the moment, even though he is leading you out of the fray. And as you all progress, we'll make this fun. Shock, will you roll a d6 for me?
D6. Give me 1 second. I need to dig out a D6. As soon as I sit down my back. Not expecting D6s, so I didn't have any yet already.
No, you're good. I'm rolling off the cuff right now. This is I need somebody to decide for me.
We're going off the book, guys. We're taking
Dun, dun,
liberties with the system.
Have I ever not?
Well, that's a 4.
Okay, so that's unfortunate. You guys are
I
all
hate you.
barreling forward and forward. That's fantastic. I appreciate it. Josiah does not appreciate it though. Flashlight out and on. You are moving as quickly as you can, keeping these two close behind you, and you hear the awful metallic and crack as a bear trap just like over your left ankle.
No. I don't want it.
You're gonna take yeah, see, I don't want to kill people right now. How much health do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
Currently I have 5 health.
Okay. You're gonna take 2 damage from that.
Sure.
You know there is some fracture immediately present, and
Can
this
I-
halts the party in their tracks.
Can I make like a body roll to try and reduce that?
You know what? Sure.
Cool.
Also,
3.
I'm great at first aid.
I got a 10.
Okay. All right.
I saved Sabian's life before I tried to take it.
So, 10 being a critical success. Go ahead and take a stress away.
Okay.
And you step. What ends up happening then, if we're doing a body roll to reduce this, and that was a crit, you step forward and the gate of your boots puts just the heel of your boot right on the edge of this bear trap, and it still chomps down right on the back of your shoe, or right on the back of your boot, but it locks up tight on the rubber. So no damage taken, but you trip as it collides, and the chain that's holding the bear trap down the way pulls tight as you hit the ground in the mud and leaves.
Oh, motherfucker.
Portia comes down and is like already like pulling apart the trap.
Okay. Easy enough to do just to get some boot out of it. But in the span of time that this, I mean, there is a 30-second delay here. Whatever was snapping behind you, as you go down to help Josiah take this off, Meg, You've got
Hello.
you've got a light looking around, and you can see what appears to be it's big enough to call a boulder. A big fucking rock comes sailing through between the trees at the only person standing up. Go ahead and make a dodge roll for me.
Fuck.
Uh-oh. Oh no, that's not good.
That's a sad face.
That's a critical failure, and that's even before taking in the fact I had to bring down.
Can she push it, or is
I
this
can.
a
I
combat
have
roll?
a drive that I can do that.
Okay.
Can you push body rolls?
We're not in combat, so yes. You can push things as long as they're not in you can't push combat stuff.
Is it stress or
Let's see
drive to push?
You can spend a drive to push instead of taking the stress, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
I think I'm just gonna. That seems like a very stressful thing. I'm gonna take that. and that one worked better for me because it's a critical success. But I go down a tier because I don't have anything in dodge. So.
Okay. So it is still a full success. This boulder flies through, and you manage to... you're not dodging this thing, but you sidestep it enough that instead of colliding with you first, it hits the tree that you kind of duck behind. Splintered wood shatters outward as the rock lands and hits the ground, rolling a couple feet. And a guttural roar off in the distance as you can now hear some kind of creature barreling towards all of your space. Close enough that... running is not the first thing on... Well, it's probably the first thing on your brain, but probably not the first logical way to get out of this. You would all hear that, too. You would just be down and not see it first.
So it's time for diplomacy.
As this creature continues to barrel into the space in this fairly tight bunch of trees that you were all in. You can see in the rain, kind of silhouetting him through the LED of your flashlight, that it is Theo, or at least what was Theo, a hulking man at this point, 9 or 8, 9 feet. Flesh torn with the muscles passing through the striations and where things grew too quickly for the body that contained it. Still looks like a man, but a very, very angry, real big boy.
Well then.
Take a look at Discord. I have to ask you something.
I am doing so now.
I don't want to shoot him.
Shit. I will.
Okay.
You get us started with some shooting.
I'll get us started with some shooting.
Okay. So give us some combat.
Oh boy. Let's see. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice for this. I rolled 7 dice and got a single success.
Nice.
No ones though, so that's nice.
Well, hey, it works.
Well, the thing is with this game is you need an 8 or higher to succeed.
Yeah.
Theo, roll body for me.
Okay, just body, nothing else?
Yep, just body. He's not dodging these things. He's gonna take him right to the chest.
Oh, well, this is going to be fun. I got a 7 and a 1.
7 and a 1. Okay. So most of these glance off of just the sheer density of mass that Theo is right now. A couple of them find purchase, and you can see the bullet holes bleeding. But he is unhindered by that and continues to rush rush forward at this point, now paying attention to you directly.
He's coming
Who's
after the
going?
one with body armor.
Yeah, helpful
How
a little bit.
cognizant is he behaving? Is he talking? Is Teddy talking at all? Or is he
No,
just
this is
yelling?
feral. This is full feral right now.
Full feral. Okay.
Dr. Davis, any suggestions?
Can we call it full rage, not full feral? That feels
You know what?
gross.
Valid.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. He's in a frenzy.
He's berserker.
Yeah.
He's berserker mode.
I mean, I did use an axe earlier.
It's true. Meg, you had something that Davis was saying?
I
Or I thought you had. I might have been
have-
mistaken.
something that it would only work temporarily.
Do it.
Oh, son of a bitch.
You go.
Then I guess if Teddy is just barreling towards Josiah, I will kind of. What I have is probably close to like an EpiPen injector,
Yep.
right? You
Yep.
just stab it and go. Okay, then just getting reluctantly so, getting close enough to Teddy to stab him with the injector.
Okay.
And
Give me a. Give me a science, and we're gonna add, if you have it at least, we're gonna add dodge to that.
I do not, so we'll just do the 2 science rolls.
For the speed of that, you just sprinting up there trying to get in.
So that is a 3 and an 8.
Okay. So we still got a success. We're doing okay there. Josiah, go ahead and make a body check for me.
Okay.
Listen, I can't stop a moving object.
Is this a combat roll?
Well, no, you're not rolling anything combat-wise.
Okay.
So you could push this, I believe.
I'm asking more. Can I add my combat skill to this?
Oh,
Are you right?
yeah, go for it. Fuck it.
Yay! That's good. I got a 9 and a 10.
Okay. So,
And some other numbers that don't matter.
Theo takes 2 heavy swings and just tries to just rake right through center mass as he's running forward, and you drop straight to the ground and end up getting still rushing forward. He kicks you, but it catches the body armor and just sends you skidding into the mud, but out of the way of him, enough to stumble him a little that Meg drops the EpiPen into the side of him, and very quickly you watch Theo roar and falter and hit the ground, immediately his mass beginning to diminish. And
Hey, can I narrate what Portia's doing as this is going on?
yes, please.
I think if like this were a TV show, we would see Portia like pointing down the end of the gun and see like flashbacks to the previous episodes where we see like her and Theo getting along, and like when she turned and she shot Sabian last episode, and she's just like frozen.
Okay.
Watching this exchange happen.
Is this if you were to isolate this into one particular emotion, what would you consider it?
Hesitation?
Okay. Okay. Well, so based on that then, go ahead and actually reduce yourself by a stress, because what you watch is the reversal, at least for the time being, of his condition. It's painful and it's aggressive and it's really probably uncomfortable to watch, but about 30 or so seconds of this antiviral that Dr. Davis had provided him kicking in, you watch his form return to that of Theo. He is beaten up. It looks like all of the spots where his flesh had torn that the muscles had passed through in the kind of regeneration and repair of his body are all now like horrid keloidal scars running across him. Pants still intact, shirt no chance. The rest of so cold, covered in mud now. Theo, welcome back to the game.
Hulk rules.
Oh, why do I feel like I just went through Hell Week again?
Oh, and go ahead and reduce your health by 1 for the shots that Josiah pumped into you, and add 3 stress to your total.
All right.
Transformations aren't fun.
Just be glad that I forgot I technically get 2 attacks with that gun.
I think Portia is gonna run over and like try to catch him as he's reduced.
Okay. Yeah.
So clarification so that we can make sure that we're tracking this accurately. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw the expression you made when you realized your cup was empty.
You didn't have to bring attention to it. Like my attention span said, "Oh, it's fine. I'll just put it back." And now I'm like, "Oh God, my glass is empty."
I'm sorry. Okay, so it's a two-part question. How long had it been since Teddy was actually applied an antiviral to keep his mutations in check the first time around? And how long, based off of that and how advanced he got, can I guess that this one will last?
The second answer is easy, 2 hours tops. The first answer is more diabolical. You never did. That's the difference. Tested with the same thing, but one of them you did not dose with anything.
Oh, lovely. I was the control.
One of them you've been keeping in check. Exactly. Theo, you were the control.
Love that.
Is Theo conscious?
Yes, he is.
Like I said, why do I feel like I went through Hell Week again?
Oh, thank God. And I don't... How did I catch you? Because I was like trying to stabilize you as you fell down. How do you want to be caught?
He would have fallen forward, so I can at least provide you that, because he was rushing and just kind of his momentum would have carried him face down.
Okay, I think then probably like we're doing like I'm on one knee and you're probably on your haunches kind of a thing. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and then like holding you up by the shoulders and then like really big hug. And more crying.
Hey, ribs,
sorry.
Tender ribs,
Sorry.
tender ribs.
All
right. Okay.
I'm
Where
sorry.
are we?
Welcome back.
Thank you. But seriously, where are we? Where's Davis? And why do I feel like I just got ran over by 2 entire football teams?
Davis is just taking a few steps back.
Yeah, Theo, the only person you've even paid attention to at this point, now that you're conscious, the only person you even know is there is Portia.
Yeah.
Everybody else is totally out of your view. Nobody is, yeah.
What is going on here? Who is this?
This is my coworker.
New question. Who's this guy with all the guns? The gun.
That's Josiah.
Uh-huh.
We were experimented on after we fell asleep on the helicopter.
I really need to know where Davis is now.
I'll step between Theo and Dr. Davis.
Okay.
Say, Dr.
I feel like
Davis.
I don't answer that question. I just let that step speak for us.
Yeah, and your eyes follow Josiah, and you can see Davis just kind of silhouetted behind him. Please continue, Josiah.
Dr. Davis is under my protection. She is. If you want,
They like her better than us.
if you want your friend Miss McLaren and likely yourself to survive, you will need Dr. Davis alive. She is the only one who can fabricate more antiviral.
Oh, good. That's reason number one. Give me 2 more.
I have a gun and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty please.
Just tense, uncomfortable laughter and awkward exchanges as the stress of all of this is starting to snowball on itself. As out of the corner of your eye, Meg, you see a little red blink off in the distance by the edge of a tree, down by the base of it, right around where you guys are at.
I think just mostly out of reflex because of that's weird, a random red blink, and just move the flashlight over to where that is.
Okay. It is a relay box, much kind of like a one of the photography the deer cameras that you put in the woods. But sitting down at the base of the tree, and you can see, because it's all been rustled and moved now, the chain to that bear trap is hammered right next to it. Or rather, the box is attached to the stake that it is hammered into. Somebody is aware of your presence.
This
Or at least it could be assumed so.
This land should have all been cleared. There shouldn't have been any hunting grounds near the lab.
That's a good thing, though, right? Like, somebody's poaching here. That's somewhere for us to go. Maybe they've got, like, a Jeep or something.
That depends on the kind of attention that you want, dear.
Well, I'm fairly sure at this point I'll probably survive it. I don't want to be lynched if I can help it.
Walk over to the bear trap's been set off. There's no.
Yeah, it was released from Josiah's boot, but it was not reset, so somebody else can step in it.
Yeah. Walk over to the relay box and open it up and just take a look and see if it's relatively short range or if it's more of a long range.
Okay. You are rolling. You are not an engineer. You would be rolling a hack for that, for your knowledges.
Alright, we'll make an attempt at that.
While I would prefer to not interact with any unknown variables, Miss McLaren does make a good point. They might have a car we can take.
There's a 4 on my part, and she's just probably just fiddling with it. It's like, God damn it, this isn't my... Portia, you do engineer work, right?
I think I need to go to a hospital.
You do need to go to a hospital. This should tell us if they're relatively nearby, right? You can tell that?
Maybe. And I'll go over there and take a look.
Okay. Yours would be hack and engineer.
Okay. Well, that's 2 dice.
Hey, better.
Hey, let's hope I don't fail this, gang. Okay.
That's on me.
That's a failure. Unless I choose to push it. Yeah, I'll push it. What's the worst that could happen?
Are you taking drive? Are you using drive for that? Or are you taking stress?
Oh no, I'm gonna take stress.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it's double stress from like the final result, right?
Yes, I believe so. I'll check it while you're
from the final. If you fail it, you get double.
I get double.
Oh.
Also, everybody else should take some stress right now.
Do the rest of us get double or regular?
Oh, actually, so out of clarification here,
Huh?
because there is a difference. You can take a stress to add a D10 roll and just guarantee that stress. It's spending against yourself, or you can push the roll, and that's where you gamble the double stress at the end if you fail it.
Oh.
So having not clarified that, if you want to just take the 1, I'll allow that because it was an intelligence-based thing for you.
Okay. So I roll another die?
No, I'm just saying, like, you could have done it one of 2 ways.
Okay.
You could have you could have spent against yourself and just guaranteed you a stress, or you could have pushed the roll, which gambles the double stress if you fail it.
Right. I probably would have just rolled the 1 extra die.
Yeah.
I'm fine with ending up at 16 and everybody
Okay.
else takes stress. The question to you though is, does everybody else take double stress from my failure?
Should only be 1.
It would just be the 1, yeah.
Okay. Take stress, everybody.
Okay. Was that a critical fail?
Nah, just a
a
7
regular?
and a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, so you two are, working on this box, and as you kind of muddle around it, because the whole thing's dirty, but it's also very wet, you end up brushing off some of the stuff on the inside panel, Portia, just to see if there's any information on, usually the tag that's in the box. What you find, and I don't know that you would be familiar with what it is in canon, but what you find is a sun-bleached, kind of cracked sticker tag in here with a segmented red and white umbrella stamped on the inside of the box.
This is old. I would recognize Umbrella Corp's logo.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they would have been. You guys all worked for Tricell. You would be familiar with Umbrella Corp stuff.
Oh, this is old. I think this failure is me getting distracted by the tech.
Super fair.
We're both just like, what the fuck?
What? This should have all been replaced. And I think the other part might be that, like, I look at the back and it looks like it's not wirelessly transmitting. It's like ground wire transmitting, and somebody's run cable under it.
Okay. All right.
If there's a transmitter, it's not near here. It's somewhere else.
Give me, based on that, give me just a casual, because you're just kind of interested in the tech now. Just give me a casual engineer roll.
Okay.
I'm not going to cause stress for this one if it's a fail, but I am curious.
Okay. It's still bad.
All fails?
Yeah, all fails.
Okay. Sounds good.
Where am I?
Yeah, it looks like
Do better. Might have to switch out my dice. No worries.
The cable, you can follow it just as far as it goes down into the earth, but it looks like it's sheathed and goes straight down first, so it can't be kind of tugged on to find any kind of direction anywhere that it might be leading to.
So can we
Dead end.
follow that or no?
Dead end.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay.
There's always the option just to be loud. Like,
If we're loud, we
And
might draw.
attract anything from the lab.
Exactly.
Teddy might have been the
mean-
fastest thing there, but that doesn't rule out anything.
To be fair, we have a bit of live bait, he says, looking directly at Davis.
Live
don't
bait who
want him-
knows what your ticking time clock is.
Josiah, flashlight off in a direction, a good ways out, or not?
Coming towards.
Yeah, around probably couple 100 yards, but enough that you can see the kind of glint and cast through the rain of somebody looking around. And then a second flashlight clicks on.
I immediately turn my flashlight off and motion for Davis to do the same. Flashlight off.
Shuts it off. It's like, what are we doing?
Someone's coming.
Gestures at the two flashlights. You are all now aware of these individuals.
Okay. Hide. Yeah.
Don't have to tell me twice. Hiding.
Hide. I don't want to interrupt them. Maybe once they're investigating, we can try and sneak past them.
Okay.
Where they came from.
So I'm not going to make y'all roll sneak here because it is rainy as fuck. Your footsteps are muddled and it's dark as shit. So what ends up happening is you all find places to hide around this area so that you're, within relative closeness of each other. And you watch these two flashlights walk into the space and start looking around. And as the flashlight kind of grazes over each other, they look to be park rangers. Just glancing around, their hands kind of casually on the revolver at the side of them. Windbreaks on, and they mention something to each other, and you watch them walk over to the box staked into the ground, and they can see the little flash on it, and they go a little bit more conversation, and then you see one of them gestures to the other and points, and both of them start walking in a direction fairly confidently. Unless any four of you choose to interrupt them.
They look
Gonna interrupt them.
You're interrupting them?
Oh no.
Yeah, I've been a prisoner for like months, and I relish the idea of seeing other people, especially people who I recognize as park rangers.
Okay.
Valid.
Hey.
The two stop
Help.
and they turn and they look at you, kind of revealing yourself from the dark, and one of them immediately releases his hand from the revolver and clips the holster closed and runs over to you and kind of by the shoulders helps you to sit. He goes, what's going on? Are you okay? What happened?
I don't really remember. There was, I think I fell.
Okay, well, do you know...
Do you have, I think I need to go to a hospital.
I think that would be
some
best.
of my friends need to go to a hospital too. I don't know where they are.
Well, we can help you find them. We came in along with a couple other search teams looking for anything potential surviving whatever explosion occurred in the woods here. Back that way a little ways. Do you know anything about the building that was destroyed?
No.
Okay. Well, you look like hell regardless, and we need to get you out of here.
I'll step out with my gun still slung around me, hands off of it, but, still very visible.
Okay. The second officer, or the second ranger who's not helping Portia, sees you step out with an assault rifle, hands up, and his hand is like palm to the butt of his gun, very tense as he looks over at you and he goes, "Hey, identify yourself, please. It's a hefty firearm you're carrying."
My name is Josiah Harkman. I'm BSAA.
BSAA. That's United Nations sanctioned. What are you doing here?
Trying to get her and a couple others to a hospital.
Understood. You want to fill me in on anything else, or?
Classified.
Fair enough. Can I at least see your badge? I want to verify I am working with who I say I am. He comes over and kind of inspects it right up in your face, and just not threatening, but he's just curious. And he looks down at the two of you, and he looks, ma'am, you said you fell?
Yeah.
He walks
not-
over to his friend, and he kind of leans down and whispers something in his ear. The guy nods, and they stand back up, and they go, all right, well, we need to get out of here. Did you all trigger that trap?
Yes, it caught my boot.
Understood.
Do you have a vehicle?
Couple miles out, about 2, but not too bad of a walk from here, and we can get back. We get and he holds up a GPS transmitter.
Okay. We need to get to that as soon as we can.
Understood. All right. Well, let's go. And the other gentleman who helps you up, Portia, and he goes, "Are you comfortable walking? Is there? Okay. Well, keep close, everybody. Anybody who has flashlights, please. The rain is not looking like it's going to stop at any point soon, and we need to move."
Dr. Davis?
And she'll, again, kind of reluctantly step out from probably behind a tree, just honestly.
Yeah, and
And
Theo
after
just drags himself out of whatever hiding hole he found himself in, and is like grumbling. Yeah, I'm here too.
Never got your name.
Yeah,
Theo.
it's a good point. Can I grab everybody's names, please?
I'm just going to pretend to be confused.
You already
Theo
called
Armel.
me by name.
Dr. Davis, are you wearing a lab coat?
She is wearing a lab coat. She did end up, I was going to mention that before she steps out, she takes the Tricell lanyard, like
Okay.
the ID code, and just tucks it into like her back pocket or something.
Okay.
So where it's hidden.
Got it. So there's a little bit of curiosity from the park ranger that was initially talking to Josiah, seeing the lab coat. But he looks at the 4 of you and he goes, well, look, regardless, let's go. I'm Officer Derrickson, and then you got Officer Franks over there, which is the one who's been helping you, Portia. And they start walking back in the opposite direction, and you can watch the one park ranger, Derrickson. He keeps turning and putting his flashlight behind you, looking in the direction back where that bear trap and everything was, and just kind of scanning the area before he keeps going forward. And you all begin to walk.
Any
And-
wildlife we should be aware of?
Oh,
Ranger?
bears, moose. If you have any allergies to ticks or afraid of Lyme disease, probably not great, but
Cougars.
well, not. I don't know if they'd be out in this heavy of a rain, but definitely bears.
I didn't know that this was any sort of park reserve.
Well, we're on the edge of national parks at the moment. Normally, folks don't come out this far. I'm real curious how all four of you got out here, but
Out of character, most of the forest in Washington is national forest.
yeah,
there's a ton of it.
I'm familiar with, yeah, so the vast majority of it all is going to be, there are some, if I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I recall there are some portions of it that venture out of that jurisdiction.
Would the lab have
Um,
actually been on the edge of that territory though? Like, is it?
It's not unreasonable to have single, if you really wanted to hide something, like individual landowners could own something, and then that could be bought by Tricell.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to gauge. Like,
Most
Is
likely
that
that's
something
what
that we would-
happened, yeah, because you
Okay.
wouldn't be able to sanction, like, buying new property, but if somebody already had something out here that was acquired by whatever means,
okay.
they could end up with it that way. It's a good place to hide
Grandfathered in,
something.
essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And the amount of woods out here, even if it was national park, I know that there are stories of, areas of national parks that are not really actively explored because there's so much.
Olympic State Park is huge.
Yeah. So he continues. He's like, yeah, I mean, this is venturing further out than most people normally go, but yes, it is park territory. But it's not worth debriefing y'all right now. I am curious. Let's keep moving. And we are going to take our intermission right there, and we're going to pick up a little ways into this walk in a couple of minutes. So thanks everybody for sticking around, and we will return after a short sec. Oh, also, Boondoggles, I'm sorry. I'm not that nice. You gave him a -2. He's going to be stuck with that now.
I vouched for you.
I know you did.
You're making me eat my words. How dare you?
If it was any game other than Resident Evil, I'd be like, no, it's fine. We'll flip it. But it's a finale. Let's cause some chaos.
God damn it.
You know, my partner came in here trying to do a nice thing. It's fine.
The best laid plans of mice and men. But anyway, we'll be back, guys. Thank you. And their Jeep is gone. You can see even the grooves in the mud where it was sitting and had started to depress into the earth from the rain. And both of the rangers look at each other, and they turn back to you and they go, can you...
Fuck.
Rangers, where's your vehicle?
Well, we left it right there.
Hmm.
Did you bring the keys with you?
Well, I got my spare set, yeah. Keep the other ones inside the glove compartment because I frequently lose them.
Is there anyone
Now you've
else?
lost the entire car.
Is there anyone else
Okay,
who
there's no need
actually
to be
lives
rude
out
here.
here?
No, not particularly. There is a facility up north past where that, it would be, you guys were heading south. It would be west of where you guys were, where the bear trap was, that we were initially suspecting before you had made yourselves known to me. But we're plenty out of the normal territory of where that should be a problem.
I have an important question.
Yep.
Did you all set that bear trap, or was that like a surprise for you?
Back and forth on that answer. We did not set the bear trap, but it was not a surprise to us, which is why we knew where we were going to be heading. We assumed
But it's not like a state bear trap.
Well, no, it's not a state bear trap.
So can you just like elaborate a little?
Whose bear trap was it again?
Somebody's bear trap.
There is a group of people who have made themselves at home in an old compound west of where that bear trap was. They live off the land. They keep away from things. We kind of just let them be. It's too much to try to force that many people out of an area. So we kind of don't interact with it. They're miles and miles from any kind of civilization, so it didn't bother us too much. But
Right. And just for comparison's sake, between the odds of them stealing their Jeep and, say, a bear, how likely would it be for them to have stolen your Jeep?
if you're
Where are
asking
the tracks going? Is the next question.
It's a good question, Dr. Davis. As you are looking around, the only tracks in the area were coming into the place and then parking.
Are there any footprints, though?
There's no car tracks going away?
There are no car tracks going away. Josiah Davis, go ahead and give me a search roll.
Oh boy. So either they just like reversed out of here or flew.
These are also very deep grooves. It is raining hard.
It's
so a little
relatively
hard to tell.
recent if it's deep.
Well, I mean, where the Jeep was sitting in the mud.
That
But
is a 10.
I'd say 10.
I got a 5, which in this case is a critical failure.
Okay. Dr. Davis, you spent some time looking around. The Jeep was not stolen, or at least if it was, they didn't get very far, because what you see, just kind of glancing around through the breaks in the rain as it kind of cascades through the leaves, is a very, very faint tail light. Kind of flickering, definitely not at full power.
Just the flashlight up, and how far away is it? You said it's nearby.
Yeah, about 30 feet off of where it was parked.
Gentlemen.
And you gesture towards it, and they look over, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they, both of them, like, hand back on holster, begin walking that direction.
That is a trap.
I don't know that they heard you, so unless you're stopping them, they are continuing to move.
Yeah, probably stopping them. Like, don't walk towards it. It was moved by somebody.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's also wrecked, and that's...
Is anybody moving in it?
And they both
You can
turn
see
their
it from here.
flashlights to it. Not moving, and the whole Jeep is upturned. Like, it's on it's completely upside down and crunched from impact. And you can see, like, pieces of the trees where it had hit and then fallen that are broken and bark torn off and things of that sort.
I heard Theo say that, and just under my breath, if you did, that wasn't you. I got you, bud. And I grab your wrist.
No, this all happened after you were here.
Unless there's something of dire importance in that vehicle, it's best probably to walk away.
Okay. Well, Dr. Davis, what's our other option if we're not going to try to get that working?
You have a radio?
Yeah, in the Jeep.
How far away would another unit be? Where's your station? How far away is the compound? There are many questions I could be asking here that give us more information to get us where we need to go.
We're about 40 miles out via Jeep from anything via the road that we took to get here.
We're outside the golden hour. We're outside the golden hour? Fuck.
Yep. So, either we can try to find one of our other parties, or we can try to get that working, or we could, I don't know, try to communicate with the compound west of us, but I don't have a whole lot of other options. We're not walking 40 miles in this rain.
Kind of mutters, turns away and mutters under her breath. And just like, you survived that long, and like, okay, how far is the compound? Get your radio.
Rangers, we don't need to necessarily get to a compound. We just need somewhere open enough that a helicopter can land.
You think for a sec, and I go, wait, you've got evac prepped?
Yeah.
Okay. And they commune amongst each other for a moment. And it takes a sec for them to kind of reach a decision, and they turn back to you guys. And one of them gestures. It would be... So they were coming southwards. This would still be... The road exiting where they dropped off on the Jeep would be heading southward. And they gesture kind of southeast-ish. And they go... We passed a clearing on the road. I was about there. It was about 10 minutes out as far as the Jeep travel was concerned. So Let's see.
About an hour hiking.
If we're lucky, but not in this rain. Took us an hour to get through 2-3 miles just to get back here.
Okay.
So we're looking at
that's
2.5 hours.
and that's the nearest clearing.
Correct. Unless you want to try to fire up through the trees on the road.
I nudged Davis.
might-
Don't worry. After an hour, I'll give you a piggyback.
Ha ha. Portia.
That might not be a bad idea. Actually, if we can get to the road, if it's clear enough, I can bring someone in.
Okay. Pop quiz. Does anybody want to remind the class what all was within the facility when it was blown up?
Is this pop quiz for our
Walkers,
benefit or for your benefit?
lickers, canines. I don't think there were hunters.
Were there
Okay.
hunters?
I
Please,
don't
God,
think
no.
so.
There were no hunters.
Oh,
I
good.
know.
Just-
The scientist knows.
Just some liquors, though.
There was lickers. There were Cerberus, which were the dogs. There was I constantly just refer to them as walkers, but it's just like the standard infected.
Right.
But there's also like the cocktail of viral and plagas, which makes them more aggressive.
Yeah.
So
Right.
No,
I will say I did do my burnout roll for that critical failure.
Okay.
I rolled a 20 on my burnout.
Oh no.
So for the
Rip.
next 6 hours, whenever I take stress, I lose a health.
Cool.
Nice.
What that translates to is, well, you didn't feel like you were injured when Theo kicked you and sent you skidding across the ground. You're probably not aware that you are currently bleeding internally.
I'm gonna take some painkillers.
Yeah.
You've had painkillers this whole time.
Portia's like, give me. I need them.
Can't believe you would do me like this.
I am
If I see
sorry
you
I made
taking-
Portia a addict.
If Portia sees you taking meds, she's gonna get interested.
So did I.
Yeah, to be fair, Dr. Davis held up that she was actually carrying a dose of antiviral on her too. But
Listen. Yes. But it kept us from getting killed, so you know.
Do
Honestly,
appreciate that.
like the amount of mad that I could be at you secretly carrying antiviral is a lot less than the amount of joy that I saw that I got from seeing.
Yeah.
Theo
That's
again,
kind of what I
so-
figured.
okay. You begin walking, all of you traveling along the road, just kind of keeping an eye to the sky as you're waiting for some portion of this to clear up.
How long has it been since Teddy was actually dosed by the time we got to the clearing?
It's been about an hour.
And
It's
how
been about an
long-
hour to the Jeep space, yeah.
And then how long is it to the new site?
Well, their supposition was about 2.5 based on the rain and the weather conditions in the area. But the current idea is to look for a clearing space in the road, so we're hoping you find something before that.
That's also not factoring in travel time and getting access, being able to concoct a new antiviral.
Yeah, you know.
So, how worried is Davis right now?
Exceedingly so.
Yeah, probably
We
about
are
2
pushing our
stress
luck.
worth of more worry than she had just a second ago before I declared that she should have 2 more stress.
It's kind of all piecing together. Probably after actually pulling Josiah's wrist and looking at his watch at the time and realizing how long it's been since they got to the Jeep, like, we will not have enough time.
Do I see you have that realization?
Depends. Where are you standing?
Are you trying to hide it, Dr. Davis?
She's probably talking under her breath and just trying to keep it to Josiah.
Say for the sake of...
Do you want me to roll like a sneak or something?
No, not necessarily. I'm just going to say for the sake of the, continuity there. Portia, you would probably recognize her checking her watch a bit more, but I don't think you would hear anything.
Okay.
As far as like the tension of like the physical movements, you definitely would notice those, but no audio that you'd pick up on.
I think Portia is smart enough to know that like things are not good. And so just like in a very like quiet moment as we're walking, she's gonna come up and like lay a hand like on that spot between your neck and your shoulder, get right up next to your ear and say, if you die because we go out of control, it's going to be everything that you deserve. And then just like walk past you.
Well, that was worse than what I had just get. Go ahead and take another stress, Dr. Davis. That seems appropriate here.
I was like, cool, I got a critical success. I can take stress off of my sheet. No, I just added 3 more. Thank you.
Time is nobody's friend. So, about a half an hour down this walk, and still seeing the blaze of whatever chemical composition is just like being torched from the burning of this facility that's not being put out by water right now. It's lessened. The light is not quite as bad, but you seem to have done a little bit of a circle around it while following this road. So it's a little bit different as far as where you were in your periphery. And where it illuminates sends you all into maybe a little bit of tension as you watch something or some things dart amongst the trees. Up top, not ground level.
Right.
Davis, I need to know, what were you doing before all this went bad?
Old tricks.
Yeah.
There were more. And he actually trying to keep the decorum so that the Rangers aren't picking up on that shit. Just kind of level so that Theo is kind of tracking, like, there are more volatile subjects in that facility than there were at the last one.
Right.
They track sound.
Okay.
We're messing with the L subjects.
How do you know about that?
I read the reports of what happened with Umbrella. How would I not know about them?
Here to share with the class?
The leaders. Portia.
Oh, it's just me that's out of the loop. It's fine. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
You
everyone,
saw them in the facility,
You're-
Portia.
quiet down. Pick up the pace.
I don't know about you, but
gets a
I
little...
just survived a helicopter crash. I'm going. Okay?
And you don't get too much time to be quiet because you very abruptly, from one of the park rangers you didn't key in, hear a "what the fuck" very loudly as you watch a licker front paw about eye level to you on a tree behind you guys where the rangers... Oh no, it'd actually be in front of you. Rangers would be in front of you walking. Round one of these, and as he screams and fumbles to pull his gun out, that liquor just straight xenomorph puts that terrible tongue right through center mass of the dude's head and drags him back to the tree, or at least as quickly as it can. A couple shots get
Run.
fired off by the ranger, and he's in a fucking panic. Sorry, Josiah, what did you say?
I said run.
Okay, that's fair.
Is it the one who got dragged away? Is that the one that had the GPS?
No. The one who's got the well, I guess it wouldn't matter. Both of them had GPS. I was trying to think. Both of them have got little GPS modules on them, but Derrickson was the one who got dragged off.
Okay.
Franks is still here and panicked. Everybody running?
Everybody running and just
Everybody
telling him to
Everybody
shut the
running.
fuck
Everybody
up.
running. All right, so
So I would like to point out,
yes.
Armel is grabbing Frank and dragging him with him as he's running.
Okay, that works.
Just telling him to shut the fuck up, probably.
Yeah, and Franks is like, "What the fuck was that?
Shut
That
up!
was-
Don't shut up!
Are you
Shut
like
up.
trying to forcibly muffle him? Because he's not going to stop. He's in a panic."
Yes, I'm forcibly muffling him.
Okay. Relative success, but better than it was as you're dragging him back. It will slow your pace, but you guys are progressing forward. Josiah, there is somewhat of a clearing that you can see, at least a break in some kind of light, probably, again, a couple 100 yards down the road, continuing the same direction. It might be a way out as far as that flare you got on you. I need everybody to give me a body roll.
Can I add combat or no?
Not for this. You ain't fighting here.
3.
This will be fine. I've rolled really well so far.
So that is a 5 with but it tears down to a critical failure.
Okay.
So I got a 10 and an 8.
I would have
Nice.
gotten a 10, but I don't have anything in body, so it's just a regular success, baby.
Hey.
I rolled a 3, but I have the tough perk, so once permission, I can push a body roll at no penalty. So I'm going to do that now.
Okay, get after it.
Doesn't matter.
Cool.
It's a pity.
It's a 5,
Hey.
All
which
right.
means I take a stress, which means I lose a health.
After a little bit of running, Theo, the park ranger, is shut up. He is running with you because he's managed to kind of understand the situation. Portia, Theo, and this park ranger are booking it. Dr. Davis running right behind Josiah fucking trips. And to steady herself, grabs the back of
Oh, no.
Josiah's gear and sends you both skidding into the mud. At the volume at which you are all running, none of you notice this.
No!
Y'all running
Wait,
quiet,
wait,
and
wait,
it's
wait.
raining hard.
Slow
I had
down,
to-
though.
Okay.
They both had flashlights.
We did.
We would notice at the very least the lack of light.
Yeah.
Truth. Yeah. So there's, I'll say, based on that, because that is a good point, you
You
guys
at least
end up
notice
with a
us
little bit of a
drop
gap,
off.
yeah, before any kind of light completely drops off because it's no longer following you. So you're probably about 50, 60 feet from them before you skid to a stop.
Dr. Davis, get up.
And she's struggling to her feet. And
Yep.
as I know, because of the critical failure, I went ahead and rolled my burnout. I'm sitting at -1 health when you gain stress for 3 hours.
Very
Hey.
nice.
Twinsies.
Teamwork!
As
Oh.
you
Fuck! I have 3 HP!
Hold Dr. Davis to her feet and
Okay.
do the like hand on the middle of your back. Like, come on, we're running now.
Yep. And you take a look around, and as you do, there is a liquor on either side of you on this road.
We get to the road though.
Both on the tree. Well, you're on the road. You've been
Oh,
you've been
no.
running on this
Okay.
unpaved road space for a bit now, but it was enough of a drop for these things to catch
Notice.
pace. Yeah. Conversation and everything. You got 2 of them dialed in on you, one on left and one on the right of the road. Everybody else at a little bit of a distance, just enough to make this a spooky spot. What are you 2 doing?
How clear is the tree cover above us? terrifying.
It's a risk.
Okay.
It's a functional risk, but it's a risk to try to fire through. There are spots where you could.
Okay, I'm gonna take the flare gun pointed up in the sky and fire it.
Okay, roll combat for me. And
Cool.
actually, roll combat and what is it, soldier? Your class?
Combat is the class.
Oh, combat
There's also
is
a
the class.
fight.
Okay.
Combat is my class skill. There's also a fight.
Are you trained in
If
first
that's what
aid?
you're. Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm firing a flare into the sky.
I asked if you were trained in first aid.
Trained in first aid. No, I am not.
Okay.
Uh,
I can just do combat. I get like bonuses to that.
Yeah, let's take
I'd
just
make
the
the
combat.
argument
this
for
one.
guile here.
Guile?
Yeah. On the grounds of like, there's not any other like.
Okay, well I don't have that
mental
either.
based stat. Okay, never mind.
Oh, yeah,
Take it all
not
back.
helping then. Good.
I have body, fight, sneak, dodge, and combat.
I try.
I'm good at one thing.
Yeah, you were just running and punching.
All right.
Wait, can we help each other?
Um,
Collaboration.
Technically.
how would you help in this case?
Shooting the monsters so that they don't bite Josiah before that shot goes off.
Okay. So you're making noise. You're gonna draw the attention and see if you can pop a couple.
I don't want to die.
Okay. Roll fight for me.
Okay, I pull out my gun. Do I have fight and combat? No, I just have fight. Okay.
You get the +2 dice for the gun, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but while they're rolling that, Armel is going to be grumbling, but running back because
I succeed.
Okay, Josiah. A gunshot's off in the distance. Your peripheral will tell you that the lickers are no longer paying attention to you two directly and have turned their gaze, which takes the tension off of you. I'll give you another die for that if you would like.
Cool. Cool.
Gives you a second extra to try and take that shot.
I'm gonna push it if I can.
Yeah.
All right. That is a 9.
Very good.
Oh gods.
All right, so you are a little shaky as you aim to the sky, trying to find one of these pockets empty of the foliage above you, and you fire, and just grazes through a thin patch of leaves, but doesn't seem to be hindered by anything, and it arcs up into the sky, and you can see it pop. And now you are hoping for some rescue. Portia, you have rolled well for that combat success. How many successes did you roll?
1.
Okay. Let me see here. I think it's in the other book.
Uh-oh.
Well, I just need to see the stats for Le Monster. Where are you?
You mean you don't need them?
I just want to remember how their numbers look.
I mean, no, it's just not. You know.
No, that's not a fucking grid.
Look.
Okay,
Look.
so two
I'll
shots.
just Hulk out.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. There you go.
Hey.
Yeah, just kill everybody. Take a couple shots, and they ring off across the front, like, cranial mass of this licker, and skid into other pieces of wood and various trees. The licker itself doesn't appear to be particularly hindered, but is pissed off, and both of them are moving towards the direction of that noise.
I would love to stay stock still, take a wrench out of my toolkit, and huck it into the trees.
All right. That would definitely be a guile. Let's.
I've got a ton of that.
Do you really?
I don't.
Oh,
No.
okay. We'll go guile and engineer. I'll let you use you're using your tools
Hey.
Hey.
for something at least.
Oh, we're gonna die.
It's a failure, and I burn out.
Oh no.
No.
All right.
It's fine.
Take some stress. Go ahead and roll me a burnout.
There's no way I can succeed. So I'll just go ahead and roll for the table.
Yep.
That's about what I hit too. After I hit 10, I was like, yeah, no.
I was at 14 stress.
Actually, I also I'm just in a place where I'm just in the same situation as them, no matter what I roll.
Yikes.
So 9 hours for me.
Oh, so you got the 19 to 20?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's no way I can't.
Good.
I've got 19 stress right now.
Jesus Christ.
By your calculations, what's Portia's timetable looking like right now?
It was an hour since we got to the Jeep, so that knocked off the safety zone to about an hour and a half. Well,
Okay.
there was an hour and a half for the safety zone, so that hour's gone, so that half hour to the 4-hour mark. How long's it been since we left the Jeep?
About 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes.
So we're outside of the 4-hour mark.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Dr. Davis, you don't have
Which
any
puts Teddy at about half an hour.
you don't have
For the
any
lovely.
record.
special remedies in there, do you?
Hold on, let me look and see if I have. Did I pick up that skill, please?
I'm here.
Did you pick
I'll
up that
just be
skill?
right back.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm nervous
I've got the field research kit, but I do not have the perk that lets me create something.
Okay. What does the field research kit do?
It's just designed for collection of physical samples and specimens, and it adds to my research.
Okay.
So, I mean, technically speaking, if I had like access to the actual chemicals, I could formulate something because it's my research. I know what goes into it, but unless I have that material, then I technically can't.
Okay.
Now, if Josiah has like maybe some medical stuff still on him,
Nope.
That kills
Well, actually,
that.
sorry. No, Josiah. I thought you were talking about Theo. I'm like, he's the medic. Josiah's got
Josiah.
painkillers is all he's got.
And that's probably not going to really help temper it at all, is it?
Not particularly. I do need to adjust the video spots because the video went away.
Whoopsies.
Sorry about that. That was my fault.
You are Gucci. Hold tight, folks. We're getting it fixed. No!
It just be.
God
it
damn
just-
it!
Ah!
Fine.
Perfect.
Oh,
Everything's great.
yeah.
It just be like that sometimes.
It do.
Hey, we're good.
Yep, we're fine. All fixed. So, Portia,
Yeah. Let's
from
go.
here forward, you are starting to fall victim of the thing that you have been infected with. Your vision is sharpening. Your glasses are less necessary.
Yeah.
It's but full Peter Parker thing going on. But no, yeah, sense is sharpened, but any kind of reasoning and empathetic attachment to anybody is incredibly clouded right now. You're no longer really able to differentiate who is what and what anybody means to you. You're still relatively yourself, but you're not doing super well. You just went like apathetic, true neutral, and are
Cool.
pissed about it.
With whatever I have left, I think I'm just gonna say, none of you should follow me, and I'm gonna book it.
Anybody objecting?
Nope.
Theo was already, like I said earlier, was running back towards Josiah and Davis.
Okay.
So if he's not in a position really to turn on a dime to try and chase down Portia.
All right.
Where's
Fair enough.
Frank's here? What's he doing?
Frank's would actually object a little bit, but he's not moving. Like anything that he would provide towards you're gonna
Wait.
get yourself killed
Wait,
is
don't.
hindered by the fact that he's frozen in terror because there's two of those things approaching. So is Portia
I'm trying to like make noise and draw them towards me.
Okay. So you go sprinting off into the
Clapping
wood,
loud.
or okay.
Yeah, like in towards the woods.
Okay. So you barrel into the woods, clapping and making noise and yelling and what have you, and it works. For the amount of noise that these guys are making, the lickers recognize that draw and begin to give chase. How much dodge do you have? Or actually, you can roll. I'll make it your choice. Either body or dodge.
It's definitely dodge. It's gonna be dodge.
Okay.
Before we go into that, because of all of the situation and where everybody's positioned, is there an opportunity for me to intercept one of them and like tackle or punch or otherwise disable it or try to stop it in any way, shape, or
If
form?
you've read the reports, you would know that would kill you. Like, you can't get bullets through those things on the best of days. Trying to clobber, it's not a good idea. But if all you're doing is a distraction and you're chill with that, then yeah, you could try it. But you'd mentioned you'd read the reports, so
Yeah.
you'd know that.
At this point, Portia's a dead woman.
And Theo's
I
not really
mean,
sitting
don't
well
fucking
with that.
count me
That's the
out
problem.
yet.
I believe in you, but like Davis is writing you off as a dead woman.
Cool.
It's just like all the better for
It's gonna
it.
be really fun to show up at the end of this module and pull you out of the helicopter.
You know what?
specifically.
Do it. Roll up.
Let's go.
If nothing else, I would like to at least like attempt to trip one of them up to slow it down.
They're on the trees.
Ah,
Yeah. So probably not working for the sake of that. But Portia, what did you get for your roll?
Fuck me. A crit and a success.
Okay. So you are gunning, and you're feeling good. Your fucking ankles are not just twisted to hell and limping and whatnot, and you are moving. And so are these lickers, but they're not catching up to you yet. Do you have any alternate plans other than just deepening yourself into these woods to get them away from everybody?
Okay. Hear me out.
Okay.
Oh god. Can other people take off their headphones for a second?
Go for it.
Okay. So what I would like to do is I still have my shortcut ability, right?
Okay.
What if I stumble into one of the cult's like tunnels?
Where are you heading?
Just anywhere where the lickers can't find me.
Okay. All right.
We can deal with that later, and I'm cool just like sitting back until you say like now's a good time, and I can show back up then. Sound good?
Okay. So, you dive in. Yeah, you're good. Pressing on, you do. You continue forward, and we will hear from you later. I'll catch back up in a second. You three along with this park ranger, are waiting on something, anything. And what you hear before you hear any blades of a helicopter are the wheels of a vehicle. The ranger, it's not my Jeep. They're all the same. I don't recognize it. And you can see headlights starting to come up down the road. About the same time, you can start to... you can very faintly, over the crackle of a radio, Josiah, hear that message received, helicopter inbound.
Transport's coming in. I don't know who that is.
How far away is that compound again, Ranger?
Oh, at this point, you're looking 2 hours back the opposite way. Plenty far enough that helicopter wouldn't be able to find us if we try to leave.
I'm not worried about the helicopter. I'm worried about the people in the vehicle.
Well, if they reach town, then I'm not shocked that they've got vehicles. I mean, it might be them. I couldn't say for sure.
Shit.
Until we know who they are, we probably shouldn't interact with them.
Nope. Nope.
You're telling me you don't want to ride out of here?
I
How
don't.
far away?
Like, we
What's
can
the
just...
ETA on the helicopter?
5-10 minutes?
Okay,
Can we wait
have...
that long with those fucking things out there?
As long as we're quiet, as long as we're out of the trees.
Yeah, a helicopter isn't exactly quiet.
Stay out of the trees, then. You have 30 minutes.
What do you mean I have 30 minutes?
Is that a definite amount of time, or is that an estimate?
It's the longest that I could give you safely. Portia breached 4 hours.
Shit. Fuck. 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 Fuck.
Okay. So,
Fine.
Did I ever mention how much I absolutely hate you?
You hide. I'll make contact.
I'll stay here and be a part of that then.
Wait, not with me or them?
What, you're talking about the truck down the road?
Yeah. You three hide. I'll make contact.
Well, that's what I'm saying. These two are injured. I'm not. I'll stay here.
Okay.
All right. Get. And
I'll intercept the truck.
okay.
Chopper should
Guess we're
be here in a minute.
ducking low behind the tree, I guess.
Yep.
Ducking low, staying quiet. So, you begin to walk forward with Ranger Franks, and you are intercepted along this road traveling towards them by a black pickup truck. It's older. And the truck stops in front of you. Headlights just kind of beaming through the rain coming down. But you can't see anybody inside of it because of the lighting right now. And nobody gets out of the vehicle. There's just kind of a stalemate as far as you're concerned between you staring down this truck and it staring down you.
Identify yourselves.
No response. Taking your cue there. The park ranger's drawing his gun again. Or actually, he's had it drawn this whole fucking time, let's be real. He's got it back up and raised and is going to shout the same thing. Get out of the truck. Identify yourselves. And he's going to start walking around towards one of the windows. And as you do, the doors open. There's two individuals that step out. And one of them is looks to be BSAA, at least in gear. The other individual is dressed a bit more casually. Fur-collared, sandy brown hair. And he steps out and he looks at the two of you, and you can hear the radio going on inside the truck of communications and things, and he goes, I need to know what happened at the Tri-Fist Cell facility, and we're getting you out.
Identify yourselves.
It's Leon Kennedy, and this is Agent Briggs, the BSAA. BSAA tipped me off that you all were in the area, or that something was going on in the area. I happen to be in Washington on government business. I'm familiar with this sort of thing. We need to go.
You see, like, Josiah's shoulders slump in relief for the first time all day. Just, Josiah Harkman, BSAA. There's Dr. Davis, and one of her subjects is right back there. We have a chopper incoming.
We have infected on staff? Or on site right now?
Yes.
I
Stable.
resent being referred to as such.
Get out of here, disembodied Theo voice.
He's stable for the time being. Not for long. We have a chopper incoming. 5 minutes.
Where's the nearest facility to here that could administer any kind of antiviral? Do you have something that can cure it? Actually,
Dr. Davis can, if we get to a hospital, Dr. Davis can.
Take us to them now. And Leon pulls out from his coat, pulls out a fucking hand cannon. And you can see, like, as he pulls the coat, he's got a pistol on the other side, but grabs a big fucking revolver and pulls the hammer back and just follows you back the paces to where you two would be hiding. The other BSAA, flashlight on, looking around, and he goes, Dr. Davis, show yourself. I have some questions to ask. I understand that there are parties infected on site.
Really isn't much of a choice, so I guess she just kind of hands up.
Anybody else in the woods follow suit?
Fine. Theo also stands out, hands up.
Is this the one we're worried about?
He's infected, but stable for the moment.
How long does he have?
Dr. Davis?
30 minutes is about the safe window.
And how long does it take to fix that?
Depends on what we have on hand.
How long does it take you to create an antidote, assuming that everything is on hand? Or an antiviral, at least?
GM.
Well, based on the stats of, like, item creation in the scientist guidebook, it would be at least 20 minutes.
20 minutes? They're cutting it short.
Which, if your helicopter's arriving in 5, you have what, a 5-minute window? Maybe?
5 minutes. We can tranquilize him.
Will that slow it down?
It won't keep him from mutating, but it will keep him from turning on everybody and killing them.
I would like to reiterate how much I hate you, Davis.
Yeah, no, we get that.
You're still the one that's actually present.
The other BSAA agent's on the radio. He's turned from you guys at this point back to you, and you can hear him talking to somebody on the shortwave, or no, this one would be satellite. Talking on the satellite, and he turns and he takes the radio transponder and he throws it to you, Josiah, and he's like, "They're repeating orders. If you want to identify yourself."
Josiah Harkman, BSAA. Rattle off like a serial number or something.
Yeah. Good to speak to you, Agent Harkman. Good to know you're still alive. What is the status of everybody around?
We have Dr. Davis. The samples and research are missing, but Davis' stuff is here. Injured, secure. We have a Mr. Theo Armel, infected but stable for the moment.
Okay, well,
We had one more, but she disappeared.
5 minutes isn't enough of a margin of error for us to want to take anybody else with. Is Davis infected?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Return Davis alive. Anybody else who is infected, regardless of timetables. I don't need this getting out of the main populace of Washington right now. Put him down before that helicopter comes by, would you? Over and out.
Understood.
Don't
Has
you
it
dare.
been relayed that there are other infected loose?
It just was.
Yeah, so the guy who was talking on the radio was basically relaying the conversation that you just had, and then he tossed the radio to Josiah for an update.
Mr. Armel, I am very sorry, but you are a danger to the safety of everyone.
Oh, you. Don't you dare.
Are you...
Don't you dare.
Yeah, Theo, are you doing anything about this?
Just
So we have 2 BSAA members here, and Leon fucking Kennedy.
Sidestepping currently.
Yeah, no, he's not involved in BSAA business. He's just external backup at the moment.
He
Mr.
still
Armel,
has his
He's
hands
just
on
here
a
He would be,
revolver.
Zombies.
Well,
Leon,
no, I mean there is a reason that he's here, but it's
is he Secret Service still at this point, or is he DSE?
remind me the acronym for DSE.
Defense Security something.
Enigma.
I think because this is right after 4, or this would be after 4 before 5. What was he in 4?
He was still Secret
He
Service.
was
in
he
4.
was Secret
Yeah.
Service in 4.
So he would still be Secret Service right now.
Because
as
there's
far
a
as things are
weird
concerned.
there's a weird transition in between the time period of 4 and 6 where he goes to DSE, I believe.
Right. Yeah. Currently, he is still Secret Service. So he's got his own agenda to attend to.
Mr. Armel, I cannot take you with me. You have a choice. Stay here, and I have to take care of you, or walk away.
I'm sorry. As Kennedy kind of pipes up, walk away. You let him just disappear into the wood.
There's plenty of those things out there already.
Great. I don't think that the entirety of Washington needs to deal with that on a regular basis. I can't, in good faith, I mean, if those are the orders, I'm not bound to them. And I've seen the shit that this puts people through en masse.
During this conversation, can I punch Davis and book it?
Ooh.
I was moving away from you.
Give me a fight roll.
Can I add combat to that?
Yes.
All right. No, that is no success. The highest I got out of that is a 6, but no critical failures.
Okay. 6 is probably pretty solid. So you turn and you deck Davis. Clocks her right in her broken nose and sends her skid into her ass. But as soon as you start moving, that second BSA agent is on you and just spear tackles you into the mud.
Oh, I was gonna try and shoot him.
Oh, okay, all right. No, if you're looking to shoot, I will give you a margin between those two. Go ahead.
Alright. 1 attack or 2?
You've got an assault rifle. If you are unloading, you may.
Cool. So the first one was 1 success, but I also rolled a 1. Don't know if that affects anything. Second one is 3 10s.
Jesus Christ.
Oh wow.
Okay. We're gonna pause on this moment for just a moment. Portia.
What's
All
up?
right.
The path that you have taken has led you from where you were, and you weren't sure where it was heading, but what it did was it took you under the road to the opposite side of the wood. So you completely doubled back and around these liquors. It actually looks like, and you can see in just caches underneath in this tunnel, like there are tripwires and it looks like caltrops and things of the sort to pop tires and cause problems for vehicles in on the road. Most likely just caravanning and thieving shit, but yeah, it just tunnels between the road on either side, and you pop up on the other side of this road a little ways off, and you see a fully automatic, like full clip muzzle flash of an assault rifle just being unloaded on the road. You'd hear this, you'd see the light, as if you choose to do anything with that. Theo, roll body for me.
So that's either a crit success or a crit fail. So let's find out.
A 9 and a 10.
Oh, shit.
Nice. So how many successes? You got 1 success and 3 crits, Josiah? I think you're muted.
Yes, I was. 2 successes and 3 crits.
2 successes and 3 crits. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as I recall, they cancel each other out 1-to-1.
Yes.
So you're looking at 3...
2 successes and 1 crit, then.
2 successes and 1 crit, yeah. Or, no, it'd be 1 success and 2 crits. He got a success and a crit.
Yeah, and I had 3 and 2, so we're going to 2 and 1.
Right, okay. So, it is still not enough to save poor Theo's life. And
yeah, I get lit up.
You just got magazined all down your back. And it was quick enough that this other BSA agent, who immediately turned to go lunge, fucking backs off as Theo's corpse hits the mud. I don't know if you were approaching at the time or if you were doing anything with that information, Portia, but it's not unreasonable to assume that you might have, if you're approaching at this point, you might have seen what's going on. You would have caught the tail end of it if you did, but it would have been...
I think as soon as I realized I was near the road on the other side, I would have been like trying to circle back and be like, I made it.
Okay.
And now I'm like,
Ooh, maybe not.
So Yeah, with the viral strain starting to kick in, you made it in record time. And you would have probably broke the clearing of the wood as the front mass of Theo hit the puddle.
How constrained am I by like what a person can do right now?
What a question.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk enhanced strength, speed, stamina, heightened senses. You're not sure that's how long that's gonna last before you lose control, but you're a hair and a hair and a half beyond Olympic level at least.
Okay. And how close are Josiah and Davis together?
A bit actually. They'd be probably 10, 12 feet apart.
So Davis got knocked on
yeah,
her fucking
Davis
ass.
on
so...
her ass right now. Josiah is standing with two other individuals you've never seen.
Bullet fire going right past her. She's like, oh shit.
You can start to hear the faint sounds of the helicopter in the distance.
And would they know that I'm like proper infected now?
Yes.
Would I'm not asking you. I'm asking the other three. Like, would it be obvious?
Have we seen her yet? That's the question you should be asking.
Davis, in what way? I want to follow that line because I'm curious as I think on this answer. Explain yourself.
Explain myself as far as the yes answer.
Yes.
So Davis already replied to Josiah saying she's past the 4-hour mark. And at that point, if he is BSAA and Davis, considering the research she's done, he'd at least have some basic understanding of once you're infected, there is an adrenaline, like almost like a significant adrenaline rush, and a very like ignoring any signs of pain or trauma and just barreling through it, kind of no matter what, and the enhanced like senses, strength, and maybe some speed depending on people that people have seen in extreme adrenaline cases, I think, before you actually go full berserker.
The answer there will provide you then, which because I think that tangented a little bit from your question, Portia. Kennedy and the other agent on site would not know of you. Nobody's mentioned your name specifically. Josiah would be familiar with all of this and that you're past your infection point, but what he chooses to do with it is up to him.
I want to state that Davis did say Portia passed the 4-hour mark.
And Josiah. I would also like
in
to
front
point out
of,
that...
Right, I know Josiah knows. Was that in front of the other two?
It was in front of the other two because they asked about Theo.
You're right. Okay, so feasibly everybody could be on edge. You don't know that, but they could be.
Okay.
Just to add some tension to this.
Let's also not forget, Portia does have a gun, too.
She does have a gun.
Davis has a gun now?
No, Portia does.
Oh, no, yeah, I have a gun. Of course I have a gun.
Hell no, they won't give me a gun.
Wonder why. Like all this is your fault or anything.
No, it's not.
Hey now.
It's all Overwise's fault. He asked for a demonstration.
Okay.
If you want to blame anybody, blame the creator of the system.
Exactly. Logan Dean, we're coming for you next. You're gonna have Leon Kennedy on your ass.
Okay.
Assuming he has the time. What are we thinking, Portia?
I think if I've got this inhuman speed, what I would love to do is just like end up like anime fast, like gun just pressed against the side of Josiah's head, but within visual like arc of Davis.
Okay.
So like gun to Josiah's head and you're staring Davis down.
Yes.
Got you.
Okay. So.
But
Oh, go ahead.
And I think what ends up happening here is like, yeah, I just like, of all the people, of all of us who could survive this, the only person who never wanted anybody to die was Theo. Fuck you. Why would you kill him?
Hello, Miss McLaren. Because I couldn't take him with us. We had passed the time limit. He would have turned.
Orders.
How do you feel, Davis? How do you feel right now? Are you proud? Are you happy?
Both of these individuals have got guns drawn right now. Just kind of at a standoff.
Franks is just in the background, like, what the fuck?
Was it all worth it?
Do you want to know what I was promised at the start of all this, Portia?
I don't think I fucking care.
I don't think you would understand.
You know what? Try me. Try me, Davis. Eternal life? Money beyond imagining? How many fucking lives have you ended? Not with your own hands. You're too cowardly to do that. And she like readjusts her grip on the pistol. We get a close-up of that. Do you even know the number anymore?
That's a sentence.
So what was worth it? What was worth all of this?
Evolution, progress. Humanity has reached a stagnant point. I was promised the chance that we could be something better, that I would help make it happen. And I was. But do you know what happened? You saw what happened, actually. They fucking took it and left. And now, who knows what they're going to do with it. But I can't imagine that it's going to be anything better than what I did. I can guarantee you it'll be global. It'll be so much worse.
Look, I don't mean to be the...
So if you want to continue this...
No, finish your thought.
If you want to continue this, I at least have an idea of what they're going to try to do. So if you want to see what's left of humanity succeed, then fuck off and die.
Ooh, Kennedy, at this point, is going to... he's got kind of gun between the two of you. And he gestures to the other BSAA agent to go just kind of keep eye on you, and he turns the gun over to Josiah and Portia, and he goes, "Look, I don't... Is this your first time dealing with something like this?"
Is that directed at me?
Oh, yeah.
Depends on what you count as the end of one time and the beginning of another, I guess.
Okay, so this is a string and a whole, multiple event fiasco for you. And I get it. I do. I watched a whole town get taken out. I was there at Raccoon City, among other places. And this doesn't ever get better. Ever. It does not matter how many times somebody proclaims that there is good to be had out of the horrors that they breed. But what I'm telling you now is that man you are holding at gunpoint is doing the best he can under a terrifying situation. And Dr. Davis, as abhorrent as that conversation was, having only been briefly filled in, that kind of research is necessary because we can't stop the spread of this shit getting worse. And every once in a while we need somebody, even if we're putting them under duress to do it, to find a goddamn cure to a lot of this. So you are not killing anybody today. Put the gun down.
You've got a 2-hour window, Portia. If there's a facility nearby, you can be saved.
And with that, I think the gun slides immediately to Davis. Enjoy your evolution. 2 shots on her, and then 1 shot on my own foot to try and accelerate it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Yeah, Josiah, what's up?
I try and take the bullets for Davis.
Roll fight for me, Portia. I'll answer that in a second.
I think the general answer here is I'm not trying to kill her with these shots. I think I'm trying to keep her from being able to move quickly. Okay. So I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. Should I change anything based on the fact that I'm half hulked?
What is your fight rolls normally?
It would be a 3 with the gun right now.
With the gun?
Yeah.
Okay, add another one to that.
Okay.
Just for the sake of your focus right now is impeccable.
Cool. 2 10s, a 6, and a 2.
Okay. If you are attempting to take those shots, because you wouldn't know if she's trying to incapacitate, roll dodge for me.
Oh, man. Not body.
Nope, this is a reflex thing.
Okay. This is not going to be great. I've got a lot of painkillers in my system right now.
I'm rolling with zeros either way, so you know.
That is a critical failure.
Okay, so nothing in regards to that then. Davis,
Hello.
you have really no choice but to roll body here. You're not dodging those being on the ground. You said it was 2 criticals?
Criticals.
Okay.
I'd call them snake eyes, but they're a little more googly than that.
I don't know. I've met some pretty wild snakes in my time.
I'm sorry, I'm looking up. Pushing for a second.
I don't know how to interpret that.
It's
a weird sentence.
Look.
Could mean a lot of things.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to push my roll, and I'm trying to make sure I'm doing it right.
You don't know my life.
I don't know that you
I don't.
push
That's why I was
combat
curious.
rolls.
If you use a drive, you can push any roll. If you use a help, you can
Ah.
do any physical non-combat rolls.
Yeah, so spending
So-
against yourself you can, but
Yeah, I'd be spending my drive to do it.
I mean, you're not going to use it for anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get after it then. Let's see what happens.
All right, let's find out. Okay, it's still not great. It puts me to a failure, but it wasn't a critical failure, so you know that's nice.
How much health do you have, Dr. Davis?
3.
3?
Well,
Okay.
don't you take a damage when you take a stress?
I do take a damage when I take a stress, so you
Yep.
know what? Let's roll that down to a 2.
Infection isn't particularly kind, and maybe the aggression got to you. What you would like to have done in, I guess, your conscious self would be to cause Dr. Davis pain and suffering and to keep her from moving. What you actually did was, with a competition shooter's grace and speed, pumped 4 bullets center mass through her like she was standing at a rifle range, at a firing squad.
Do I have anything left in the clip?
There are, there would be, I think, 2 shots left. We will see if you can use those as soon as that trigger is pulled. The BSAA agent is down and trying to assess, and Kennedy is pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Right.
To be fair, shot by Leon Kennedy it's a pretty dope way to go out.
I'm
I was
honest.
for Kennedy at that.
With a magnum because he's got the revolver.
I honestly, if where this ends is like me realizing I've shot 4 shots center mass, going fuck, and then get blown away by Leon Kennedy, we don't even have to roll for that. Like,
Is that how we're ending it? Like
genuinely happy with that.
Okay. So
I don't think Portia's not leaving. Like,
not now. I think what that
No.
realization would have been is that was my only option at a cure.
Yeah,
No,
that's kind of what I was
she
hinting
already
at.
knew that. She already knew that. And like,
Well, I guess more what I meant there is you weren't trying to kill her. Like, you made a very clean decision, like, I'm trying to keep her from moving, but the infection, or I guess the aggression towards her that's been being pent up that killed her
yeah.
meant that whether or not you wanted to save her to have the chance of saving yourself is gone. But
No.
all right.
My goal was to Hulk out and let her be front row and not be able to leave.
Yeah.
But-
Which would have been a hell of a way to go. What nobody ended up asking Davis is what stages that the particular infection that she provides people actually takes. So there would have been probably some more time available for that. But yeah, you fire and gun down Dr. Davis, and Leon Kennedy in that same snap gives Josiah Harkman fucking tinnitus as a bullet goes
You mean you can hear?
just straight through the skull of Portia McLaren, scattering brain matter across you and putting Portia on the ground, dead and unable to recoup from that, infected or otherwise, and ears ringing. Everybody who is either infected or had any part in this is gone at this point, as you hear the helicopter get closer and closer, and Leon looks at you. Oh, go ahead.
So I'm dropping to the ground, attempting to do first aid on what I assume is a dead body.
On Dr. Davis?
On Davis, yeah.
Oh, fuck you.
I have no skill in first aid, and I assume she's already dead. So
Yeah,
Listen, believe.
attempting best you can. If you're doing any kind of resuscitative anything, you're just getting blood continuing to well around your hands. Is it? Yeah, no luck. Kennedy's gonna pull you off of Davis, kind of by the arm. The other BSA agent is walking down towards where the ranger is, who's got his flashlight, his like little pen light up in the air, trying to make sure that the helicopter knows that they're in the foliage. And Kennedy looks at you, and he goes, "Sorry, Portia, you made a. Did you have a question? Or
Is the park ranger still here?
That's what
Frank's,
I
yeah,
mentioned,
he's
yeah.
just there.
Okay,
So-
okay.
the park ranger during all of this went back to where you guys were standing when the flare went off. And he's got his light in the air because this is not a completely open space. And his brain said, they're not going to find us. So he's trying to signal the helicopter.
Okay, got it.
So it's just you and Kennedy, and he looks at you and he goes, Is this it? Are you familiar with anything else in the area or anything that we need to be?
it was the whole fucking facility that burned.
Yeah, well,
Things got out.
BSA's on that best they can from my understanding. I came here
There was
to get Davis to a facility that was external of this jurisdiction, but
there was a man, Wesker, and some scientists. They took Davis's research or samples.
Wesker was on that. Wesker was here. Do you know what they were specifically looking for? I mean, do you know what that research was?
Not much of a science person, but
Okay.
Davis was trying to combine something with something else.
Okay. Well, that is information that need to be known everywhere that helps handle these sorts of things. I need to get that back to the rest of the Secret Service. You need to take that helicopter, talk to Chris Redfield and the BSAA. Make sure everybody knows that new research is in Wesker's hands, especially if, because from what I was debriefed, this was Tricell.
Yeah.
Okay. Which means the influence of what Umbrella was doing is still around very much more prevalently than I was anticipating. They're ramping up aggressively.
As a side note, Tricell was one of the actual people that funded the BSAA. So that's a major factor for
Yep.
what they would be handling.
Yeah. I need you to debrief everyone. Make sure that gets to as many people as you can, because
Yes, sir.
we need to know what Wesker's up to, and I need to get back to the U.S. government.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I assume you'll have people here because of the helicopters. Make sure that these bodies are burned, ideally.
Yeah.
This is my truck. I'm taking it back, so
This one's mine.
have the other agent go with you on the helicopter, but make sure that this is disposed of. I need to leave now.
I'll nod and just sort of look down at Portia and just sorry it went down this way.
Me too. I tried to give it an option. I mean, I recognize that was a side thing, but like that was to Portia, not to me. But Kennedy kind of puts his hand on you as he walks away, and he goes, "For what it's worth, I'm sorry too. I've seen a lot worse, and it won't get any better. So, if you're in this, stay in this and provide whatever help you can.
Don't think I have much of a choice now.
If you ever find the opportunity to get out, it might do you good.
Sure.
Everybody needs a retirement at some point. This wears on people. But best of luck. And he kind of walks back and holsters his gun, and you can see he's kind of, there's this apathy to him, or not apathy, but maybe neutrality to him right now that's just like, it's another one of these again. He's not particularly distraught by it, but he's never pleased by these sorts of things. So
yeah.
What are you doing with the what's your goal with the corpses? Are you guys taking care of those yourself? Are you handing them off to the park ranger to burn? Are you
I'm not gonna put that on that poor man.
Yeah,
He's doing his best.
That man's getting airlifted and treated for shock. And debriefed somewhere.
I'm gonna take some like extra gasoline or something, or from the plane, or I don't know what the fuck do helicopters run on? Gasoline, right?
Yeah, like
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's just gas.
They probably have like a chemical or something that
Yeah,
they
it's
use
probably
for
closer
burning.
to like jet fuel, but
Well, whatever it is, it burns. And I'm gonna take
siphon a little bit and just douse them.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Make sure that whatever infection was there is not spreading, and then you will fly off. As you head back to BSAA headquarters, poor Dr. Davis and Theo and Portia, Theo and Portia were just put through the ringer just for the sake of being in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And Dr. Davis very much got what they deserved in the scheme of things. We cut to a different facility somewhere else. And Wesker walks into a different lab with a different amount of research, some of which is new files, some of which is Davis's files. And they are handed off to a scientist who compiles them and begins to file them into the computer. And I guess this ends with a wide shot of this scientist just typing additional information onto the computer as Wesker walks away, kind of data archiving these files, and downloading what was in the drive for Davis. And on the screen, from Davis's research and the new research, the file folders are specifically just titled Project Ouroboros. And we cut there, which we see in like 2 years, I think, canonically from here. But hell yeah, guys. Hell of a way to die.
Yeah.
fucking night.
Not.
Ah,
Not great.
We all died except for
Yeah?
Josiah. But
Well, I died episode 1, so
yeah.
it all
How we-
balances out in the end.
How
Yeah.
we feeling on that fulfillment and catharsis?
How are we feeling? What did that all do for y'all?
From my perspective, catharsis.
I enjoyed that as an ending.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I was one who did Davis in, but hey, punch to the face. Good secondary
You
prize.
got something.
You made it really easy for Portia to gun her down.
Yeah.
She wasn't avoiding any of that.
No.
Yeah. No, Josiah could not be more disappointed with how things turned out, but
Yeah.
I'm chilling, you know?
I thought more
Just
towards
chilling.
the end there was maybe a chance that, like, okay, we can get Portia down enough that we can get her to a facility and actually treat her, because it's 2 hours. You have 2 hours until you completely go berserk. So,
Yeah.
but I think that finishing line just kind of dug the, last nail in the coffin.
I think that there's so much of what was going on in my head throughout these 3 games is just like experimenting on bodies and just I would not have felt good as a player if I had ended up leaving in a helicopter with a eugenicist. And that's what I was left with. And it's like
Reasonable.
I don't know. This was a great time. There's a lot of fucked up shit, and me as a person, if I'm playing my character with the amount of me that's in Portia, no fucking way.
No, it was great. I don't know what it is about horror systems that bring out my favorite kinds of tension in people. But I very much enjoyed the resolution to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did it feel, Meg and Vermin being the only people who kept the same character throughout the whole series?
I'm gonna let Vermin answer that one first.
I'm very interested to hear your answer. I think so I was not expecting Portia to make it out of episode 1.
Same TBH, but
super honestly, and then once I was put in the position that I was put in episode 2, it's and I think this is good. This is part of what makes I think the horror of episode 2 work, is that all of my agency is taken away. I'm dependent on somebody I hate, and who is controlling me and controlling my body. So it gave me just tons of feelings to play with. And I think by the end of all of this, if you watch these episodes back to back, you're going to see 8 hours of Portia kind of having a proper arc.
Yeah.
And that feels good as a player.
Yeah, I think the direction that Portia had devolved into just, this is the worst thing, and I don't give a fuck anymore, because I'm in it and I don't have a choice, is really, really fun to see the whole way through.
I think there are moments that could have gone differently, and I think Portia wouldn't have done what she did in this episode. But I think the big nail in the coffin is Teddy is genuinely the only character here who never killed anybody on purpose.
Yeah, well, and to...
Yeah,
and to your notes, Shock, I know that I guess in the scheme of the game here, I'm happy to have I'm really glad that you came in for episode 3, because I know that Theo did not have a whole lot of a role in this particular session. Mind you, the various ways that you guys could have gone through all of this would have provided more opportunities for that to be a thing. But in this, as it happened, looking at Theo's involvement, there was not much, I suppose, comparatively. But at the same time, the existence of Theo being back to who he was, even if all he was being escorted out, had some kind of I don't know,
narrative weight.
Yeah, additional humanity there that it didn't have before, because he is totally innocent to all of the bullshit, and is now stuck in a position where everybody is even more stressed about him.
Your only crime was caring about the people that you shouldn't have.
Yeah, you're a goddamn medic.
Yeah. I mean, this all could have been easily dealt with if I didn't drag you into the elevator at the end of session 1.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so much good dramatic irony, knowing where we are now from the beginning of any of these episodes. You don't give me a gun if you don't give me a gun in episode 2 or 3, a lot of shit changes.
Hey, that's true.
Yeah.
I think the thing that we haven't touched on is Josiah specifically is is responsible for the failure of that mission in a really concrete way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I caused all this shit. And I knew going into this, and I'm delving into the fact that I did spend all 3 episodes playing the same character. I knew going into this that I was here to be a problem. But that was also like, Mads and I had preemptively kind of talked about like, okay, here's what we can do with this if we want to do Resident Evil, because it's something that we're both really into.
Yeah, so I mean, we discussed timelines, we discussed where this was going to take place so that it could feasibly work in a canonical space.
Like, ultimately, I had no idea what was actually going to be happening each session.
I think
I just knew.
I suppose I tried a different thing as far as how I DM with this one too, or GM with this one, in that I addressed everybody, and I guess this will start transitioning into like, how did the system play? How was a campaign in this kind of game? And, you know, the actual part 2 of the Top Shelf, we haven't had the last 2 episodes. But it's like, I tried something different with this because it is inherently a horror system. And because I knew we were working with Resident Evil, I had this ability to say, everybody at Tricell can't be bad, and messaging everybody individually and be like, where is your loyalty lying?
Yeah.
You know, where
like, what are your motives? And creating the different chats, talking to people about like, okay, this is what you guys are working on. This is where you're at in each stage of the thing. So like when Palinor was with me last session, we had our own chat where Mads talked to us about like, okay, this is what you guys are working on. This is the state of the project. Mm-hmm. But then there was also me individually having different information because I was also working on my own project.
Which worked well for having it being broken up by at least the first one to the second one, like several months. Because there was that division there. But also, I think there's something specifically about the company being a corporate horror system that says to me, why are you working there if shit goes this bad? Like, what is your core value that's keeping you at work before this catalyst, and what does that make you become by the end of it? You know, where do you end up changing your motives? I swear to God.
Yeah, like you were saying, Meg, like before the second episode, myself and Purple Phil had like our chat with Mads, where it's like, okay, your BSAA operatives, your goal is to like make Davis your prisoner.
Yeah, like we
had a lot of PvP in this campaign. Yes, we did have some like actual physical player versus player fights literally 10 minutes ago.
But it was like a lot of mostly like interplayer tension and hostility.
The true horror is the friends we made along the way.
Where's Purple when we need it?
I need that on a shirt.
I'm going back and clipping that once the VOD's over.
I think this was
we got a couple of good clips.
We do.
This was and I think this was a good system to explore that avenue of like, hey, you don't all have to have the same goal, because like that's a very like, you know, like D&D sort of thing. It's like, what is your shared goal in completing this quest? Our goals were to survive. Ultimately, that was the goal. But like within that, we all had our own things we're trying to accomplish, and it just felt like a really good system.
And
I was just gonna say there are a handful of games that give you like very concrete goals to play against each other. I've been reading the Alien RPG, and like, speaking of another horror RPG, that one gives you like, if you're playing a single session, if you're playing a single session, they give you a trifecta.
Everybody's got one.
I'd be very excited if Shockfind says. But like,
He's just
Ultimately,
looking at his
what-
bookshelf, trying to figure it out.
I
Ultimately,
don't
what
know.
carried us through this is we had
I don't know.
we
the
had
ending game.
characters who didn't see eye to eye about like the best resolution of this the situation, and that's something that you can carry into any game because it's not baked into or it's only baked into the company in the sense that like we each have our XP triggers, but like those might not be within each other, but like mine were protect and or repair company assets and utilize infrastructure to accomplish goals. Like that doesn't make me want to fight my party, but I feel like the scientists did, right?
Yeah, my job specifically was secure and recover company research or specimens. Utilize research to achieve goals. That was the scientist specific thing, which I was thinking about it like while we were talking. Is like the company has two very different ways that you can play it. You can play it like we did, where we're all in the same company and it just goes to shit. Or it's like we could transfer this whole thing to maybe we're an actual like BSAA government unit and we're all fulfilling roles trying to deal with something that went down.
So
like we are a response
objectively-
unit.
Yeah,
Which-
that is how the company is written.
Like you're supposed to be a response unit, I think.
Yeah, you play as an ARC unit, which are like asset recovery,
Yeah.
and containment.
That's like the gist of it. But we kind of took it and did its own thing by making us this localized unit and then branching into two different units, kind of.
Yeah, you get the conflict back and forth, and I think horror gives a lot of room to like. You do end up being forced to work with people that you don't want to in horror kind of in general because there are always those outside factors that are out of your control that you'll die by yourself. And the need for survival in a horror movie, game, whatever, always supersedes your personal opinions.
Mhm.
And then you
It's like,
get these... Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, it's like cool. I hate you, but there's an axe-wielding murderer outside. So like,
Yeah, that's just Theo.
I
Don't
guess
be
we
rude.
can-
In this particular case, I was the ex-warning murderer.
axe.
Correct.
You're very sweet for somebody who ended up doing some murder.
Yeah.
It was all accidental.
God.
It's not too bad. Not too bad.
I'm gonna lose all of my friends.
Here's an interesting question for everybody. So one of the conversations to have around the company and kind of the way that it functions is, can this maintain itself for a long-term campaign or a short mini-series comfortably? And oh, go ahead. That's the first question. I have a follow-up to that I was going to get to, but yes, let me hear thoughts first.
I would say so. Like, the rules are present enough that it could handle a longer form game. Like, you could run like a mini series or a full out campaign, in my opinion, with the rules.
Yep, as written, I would agree to that. It's set up to where it's like you can be your own unit and you can be consecutively doing missions together. If somebody dies, they can be brought in, they can be replaced. I think that's how this system is meant to
Almost
be
like a funnel.
played. Yeah.
I would say yes. I think it would work best as a episodic
A mini series,
campaign or mini series where it's like, cool, this episode or this session is this mission, this session is this mission. In between, you have time to like recover to lower your stress, because like what we did episode 2 to episode 3, like I started this episode with 10
painful.
stress.
I started with 7. That was painful, and it was.
I had 10 stress and technically 0 health, but Mads was kind enough to be like, you can have 5 health.
Well, because you got patched up in the helicopter, like med packed and whatnot.
I
before you
did.
got put back.
I did have a fight with Albert Wesker.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that kind of leaves scars.
It's a system that's meant to, like, in a session, make sure that you are aware of how brutal it can be with the stress management and the damage that can be dealt to your health pool to the point like you should be prepared to not be attached, but if you survive, fantastic. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how much shit we can put you through.
Exactly. And I did feel that, like, having two characters in this, because first episode I came in with this, like, sweet little, like, Franny Fern who just wanted to, like,
Just mess around with technology.
right?
And
Just wanted
I am
to
sorry that I
chill
let
and,
you
like,
die that first
keep
session.
her friends up. Nah, it's fine. I got infected. Whatever, it happens. And she died horribly. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to make someone who can fight. So I showed up with this character and got to play him 2 separate sessions, which was a very different experience from the first. And it's neat to know that it's so easy that it's like, if you do die, that sucks. You can make another character pretty easy though.
As far as the main question goes of like, can this be played for multiple sessions? Clearly, like, we did it. Nice. High five, gang.
We didn't even really alter much, honestly. Like, there was a time gap between 1 and 2, but we went into 2 and 3, and it was still, like, I think it carried the tone that Logan was trying to go with for it.
And I think the other thing that is worth saying here is, like, I think, Shock was like, oh, it could even do like a full-blown campaign. Like, if I'm gonna pull the curtain back on my home games real quick, I really love to play for less than 10 sessions in a single system on a single story. I think for me personally, anything beyond that gets really unwieldy. But like this system, I think you could come back to it regularly, but like it really wants you to tell a tight story with characters who have developing relationships, who have seen some shit together.
Yeah.
And have had things go really wrong, because each of those resets between sessions are just going to be raising the stakes and raising the stakes and raising the stakes.
Yeah, and I think I posed the question the way that I did, specifically for what Rowan touched on, in that the stress mechanics and the way that they are, I think they're very, very nice for the system. I think they are beneficial for the sake of like pushing rolls and understanding where they're at, but it's not a sustainable it's not sustainable through a series that doesn't have some kind of episodic break.
Yeah.
1, 2, maybe 3 if you're pushing it, that works, but there's got to be some kind of brevity in them, and you would need to touch down and let them relax every once in a while.
If there's no in-system downtime, like we're referencing Alien RPG, we've already done it. Alien RPG has a stress mechanic where if you interact with a particular item that you have on your person, or if you're in a safe zone for a certain amount of time, you tick down your stress levels. In comparison to that, for this one, you would have to have like legitimate in-game time to be able to decompress and heal up.
Not to mention, resting, looking through the rules, is actually resource expensive. You need to spend a drive to legitimately rest.
Yes. Like, you can do that in system in a mission, technically speaking, if you use a drive to do it. But you don't get drives really unless you're completing certain tasks. Like if you're completing your job, you get drive, or at the end of the mission, you get drive as discretion by the GM.
The neat thing about all of those mechanics, though, as like somebody who hacks games, is that this system is super hackable. Like, there's a lot of the systems are not so enmeshed that they're totally opaque and arcane to any old like household GM. So like if you get to a place and you're like, okay, we're kind of going through sessions, I need to adjust this. You could change people's like job XP triggers really, really easily.
Yeah.
Like if we were gonna play this
pretty bare bones.
Yeah, if we were gonna play this longer with like me and Shock, both having characters who were infected, I would, as the GM, have changed one of our goals to be like pushing us into infection stuff.
Oh yeah, easily. Now to be fair, I do come from a background where I'm rules heavy,
Mm-hmm.
but I actually do like how straightforward the system is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking on that too, Vermin, that I think if I were to run a long form version of this with the XP triggers, I would almost have everybody hand write two of them, or like have their class one for like their job, but then write a second one where
Like a
you
personal
have
goal?
yeah, you have your personal drive for being there, what you know, isolate a core value for your player that reinforces that personality, but then like once you have that, what's next? And that one continues to kind of evolve, which would be neat. But because yeah, it's a good point. But overall, like I really enjoyed it. It shares a lot of similarities in, I guess, the dice chosen and some of the ways that it's laid out to like Mothership almost. And I don't know about everybody else here. I personally I love Mothership. Um,
I enjoyed Mothership. The key difference between it is that there comes a point in Mothership where it literally takes the player character out of the player's hands and puts it into the hands of the GM, which can work narratively, but at the same time, it's also taking agency away from the player and being able to like play out what they feel like is appropriate for the character and coming out with maybe a different story. Like, if you, I'm going to ask this question. If Portia had been put in your hands, Mads, what would her final reaction would have been with that final altercation?
I think I am understanding enough up to this point of who Portia was that I actually wouldn't have changed anything. I can't think of anything different that I would have done that I saw Portia differently than how Portia was portrayed. You're kind of looking at a, hopeless end of the stick, and you're looking at the person who did it to you. It seems pretty clear cut to me. However, I do think that in my head, the reasons for doing so are different than, the emotional reasons that, Vermin would have for that same situation. And that changes things maybe a little bit in how they would have been approached, but it probably would have been the same thing.
I think it's a good thing to shout out here that like if Leon had said something different, that could have ended differently. Like, I was super open both to Davis convincing me that she deserved to live, and to Leon, which I was not expecting, Leon convincing me that I shouldn't go through with this. Neither answer, like, convinced me that that Davis was worthy of being saved or was going to be properly punished for the lives that she had taken. And like, if you are playing both of those characters, I think as a GM it's hard to like separate emotionally like where this character is versus like where they can be changed.
So piggybacking off of all of that, Mothership, when it takes control of the player character away from the player, it's a really dependent on how soon that happens. So, and the quality of the GM. If it happens too soon, the GM doesn't have enough material really to work off to properly play the character. And if the GM is not up to that, it can also fall flat no matter how much information that they have. So that's a bit of a hit or miss there. Here, there's no taking away of that control. So the player,
no, you're good. That was a joke, because inevitably it is not written into the rules that I get to commandeer your character. I did so because we were out for a session and then we played with it from there. But like, it's a super fair point. I think I am always nervous about playing somebody else's character, and I was going to mention, I think personally I prefer the way, between the two of them, I think I prefer the way that Mothership's stress mechanic works more than this. I like a lot of their table options better than I like this one. And like how it wants to identify itself. But I actually had not, because I don't play very often. I am most often the GM.
That feels.
I mean, it's all good. I don't mind too much. I have a good time. But I hadn't come across that perspective of like the relinquishing of your character over to the GM and the effect that that had on things, because I don't experience it.
And like,
Um,
just speaking as a player that you ended up like taking control of their character, it didn't necessarily bother me because it's like, okay, this is a one shot. This is very bare bones. You did play the characters like very verbally abrasive,
yeah.
which was fitting for that character. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you have to think about some players really don't like that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
and like I said earlier, it's very good story narratively if you're trying to get the story to go a certain way.
Here's a real
But-
good conversation and tangent to that I think we can all get in on.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the statement, you know, there are some players that just can't get in on that, and it's like, yes, wholeheartedly, and it becomes all the more important because both of them identify themselves as a horror game, to have as many conversations about that beforehand and setting expectations for what is present in a game, finding everybody's lines of what they're comfortable with and what is, you know, what happens if we don't, or things like that. I've been thinking about that a lot today because for the audience's sake, we had a conversation just earlier today when I was thinking out different branching places that this could go, that compound had some, like, I don't, no need to get into anything, but like had some problematic shit that I wanted to be careful about. And in regards to that, it's like, I think that question and be like, hey, is this something that I can touch on or explore in a place that everybody's okay with? And, you know, where are we at there? As well as, you know, hey, we're playing a system where there are things that can happen that I have right to hand over your character sheet. Those should be very similar conversations.
Yeah.
Because that comfortability, like lines and veils and things, are important, and so are understanding the potential consequences of just the mechanics. I have D&D players who have a really hard time with like losing a character because we're well over 100 sessions into my current campaign. And that's really, really hard to watch somebody die. So it's like, here we're in a situation where you need to, like, if we're doing this and this is the direction you're going, like, we need to prep for that, or we need to talk about it just in case. So it's, horror is more important than anything to throw those kind of things in there.
This session in particular, and just horror as a genre overall, when you're doing TTRPGs, you need to have those kinds of conversations. And
Absolutely.
even when we did the announcement today, we put the content warning out like, hey, we're all doing like false injury makeup. So that may be a factor into the fact that we have had lower numbers. But you know what? I'd rather that over a player coming into our channel in complete shock, seeing a bunch of us with a bunch of injuries and fake blood. Like,
Yeah.
That's a factor of, we want our players to be comfortable as well as our audience.
Yeah.
To answer your question about like taking away character sheets and like how that fits in horror systems, I think I use a phrase when I'm talking about. I think I came in saying this phrase in our Discord chat. It's like, I'm here to play to lose. Like, I'm really game as a person and a player to like cause problems and like pick bad choices when it's appropriate. And I think there's a dichotomy between the way heroic role play works in games like D&D, where like taking away somebody's agency when they're supposed to be a hero can feel extra bad. Or like, not feel extra bad, but like your character is supposed to be a hero, so like for you to role play as being the bad guy for a minute doesn't feel good. So I think that's what I mean. It's like in a heroic role play, often you have these mind control effects where the GM kind of takes control or pushes the player and tells them what to do. And then I think in horror role play, because we all know the genre conventions, I don't think you need to take away control from the player, as long as everybody knows up front. It's like, hey, if you hit this certain point, I'm not going to take away control of your player, but I'm going to ask you to cause problems. I'm going to ask you to act adversarially against your friends, because it will make the story better, and because that's where the story is. And like, if everybody can agree to that, you don't need to take away control from your players. You can be like, all right, buddy, I want to see what you can do. Because taking away control from your role players is also just like excluding somebody from the game for a minute.
Yep.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
Oh, sorry. Was there...
Oh, no. Don't.
Okay.
Go on.
No, I was thinking about that because a shameless crossplug. I'm working on a thing that's coming out on Monday, and I'm very excited about it. If you've seen the Mothership episode that we did for 14 Days of Halloween, in which we ventured onto the terrible moon of Icaros, we're writing a system that reconnects to Icaros as a location. So it's not quite the same thing, but there's a conversation that I write about in the game that I think the existence of it's I'm happy about, but it's not designed to kill anyone. And it touches on the conversation of like, there's no point for somebody to die in the game, because that's one, like, the goal here is not to get in fights. The goal here is to do this different thing. Mm-hmm. And within the genre conventions, it's not a helpful tool to let somebody die, but also it takes you out of the game, and the game is meant to be chaotic. So instead of the game has no health mechanics, no death mechanics, no functional like player tracking as far as their well-being, because it's unnecessary, and it, like, different genres have different requirements for that. And yeah, at the end of the day, you don't want to take anybody out of the game. I just thought it was interesting because I was specifically thinking about that yesterday, where it's like, yeah, if you kill somebody, especially if they die early in the game, then you're stuck just kind of sitting for the session, unless a game is quick enough, which this one is. Which, if like I was playing this at a table, I would say, if somebody died in the middle of a session, we could easily take a 10-minute break, have them build up a new character, or have some on back order that you could just kind of re-click in, because the character creation is super nice.
Any of us could have started playing as that ranger.
Yeah,
Yep.
Even that would have been super simple. Let's see. I've got a question. Was this question asked to me somewhere else, Vermin, and I just missed it? Or...
I was going to ask the question verbally. I'll just put it to you now.
Yeah, go for it.
So, for the people at home who might be interested in... Oh, something's gone wonky with my camera.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I think because you opened the chat.
Hold on. It's because I opened the chat. Did that fix it?
Just close that out.
So my question for you
There we go.
is, like, if I'm a GM at home, like,
Mm-hmm.
how did you land on the choice of having this game work for Resident Evil, or like which came first? How do you figure out what kind of property you want to emulate, or what kind of game you want to play to emulate a property, if, unlike the Alien RPG, there isn't already an RPG designed for it?
Yeah, no, that's actually a super good question. I suppose for me there was a couple things. One of them is the top shelf by design has me just picking different games to address, and I'll leaf through them and kind of get a feel for the mechanics, or be like, oh yeah, I like horror, let's touch on that because I want to play a horror system. Sometimes it's my own personal narcissism towards wanting a particular genre that week. But this one, the thing that struck me is the really low health on both sides of the game. Whereas like zombies or any of these hybrid specimens that's actually in the system have anywhere between 3 and like 7 health tops. They usually deal 1 to 2 health max on a turn, and then that same kind of thing applies in the reverse for players. And like assault rifles and things grant you a shitload more benefit because of the amount of dice and things like that. But I always played Resident Evil, and my favorite part of the game was being able to gun down swaths of zombies. But like carefully. So it was like I can put a whole bunch of zombies in this with 1 health because it's not outside of the mechanics, just regular ones, and I could put a shitload in there. And you can gun them down pretty quick, but each one of them poses just as much threat as the last because y'all don't have very much health either. And I think the tension between how easy it is to kill something and how easy it is to die is what made me really stick with this one. Because there are other things that can be done, but that was my thought.
You don't want to share how you thought it was a completely different system?
What?
When you first got the company, you thought it was something completely different.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, okay, so before... Where was that written?
Throwback to the tag us as individual systems thread that we did in TPK like months ago.
Hang on. I missed this thread.
You did miss this thread.
I don't think I have it pinned. I might have to go look for it.
I have a screen cap somewhere.
Because I'm curious at what system I get tagged as.
I'll find one.
He will find one.
Anybody who is in the TPK Discord, if you ever want your like personality as a TTRPG, I'll find one for you and write out a whole thing.
I would like that, please.
I thought I personally find this hilarious because he actually tagged me for the company.
Do you have what I wrote for it?
I have to look through and see if I can find it.
Okay.
And hold on, let me.
While you're looking, what Meg is referencing is the fact that when I got this and it's bound up in the way that it is, I heard corporate survival horror, and I thought this whole game was gonna be a cubicle horror comedy kind of like go kill your boss kind of thing, and I was so fucking excited for that. And admittedly, I became just as excited when I discovered what it actually was, but there was this moment of just horrible misunderstanding when I'm like, oh, that's not what this is? As I'm reading through it, and I'm like, this is really serious and very sciencey and feels a little bit more like Mothership. I thought I was going to be able to like staple my coworker who stole the shit out of my fridge. Like, what is happening?
Somebody make that game.
It's, you know what? It's going to have to happen now because it's been on my brain. I'll just do a hack of the company and it'll still be called the company or like
the other
corp.
Company.
Yeah, the other company. It's perfect.
Oh, I'm
fuck.
still searching, so y'all continue. I found it actually.
Oh no.
In perfect time.
Perfect timing. All right, so the description he gave me was Meg Mysteria is the company, a corporate survival horror system that I thought would be something entirely different until I started reading. Very specifically concocted to tell a niche story, but it's so dedicated to that niche, it's hard to not appreciate it wholeheartedly. It knows what it is supposed to be and thrives there. That's what the description was. He legitimately thought it was a like actual companies going against each other thing.
I was so excited for that.
I remember it because you messaged me about it.
Any final thoughts or anything we have not touched on? We have technically until 10, but I don't need to force a conversation if there is not conversation, and I keep seeing Rowan yawn.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize for it. We're in the chill portion of stuff. You good?
It's a good game.
I
I want to play more of it.
I do too, actually. I want to play more horror systems. I think there's something very honest, I want to say, about like putting somebody in a situation where I'm going to say, I'm going to let you fall apart as a person fictionally.
Yeah.
Like the kind of spiral that takes, knowing that you're going to end up there at some point, or you might end up there at some point, and thinking it gives you a deeper understanding of your own character.
Well, there's a certain trust that you need to have with
Yes.
like the other players and with your GM to do those sorts of games. And when you like find a group that has that, it's fantastic.
I'm gonna throw something out here really quick. Like piggybacking off of that, it's really interesting to play a horror game because I think it takes the same kind of trust and communication that a game with intense intimacy also takes. So if you're playing Monster Hearts or Pasión de las Pasiones or like the Kiss RPG, Lightning Kissed.
So I've only heard of one of those games.
Which
I'll
one?
jump in a minute.
Monster Hearts.
Yeah, so the both the thing that you're saying about like Rowan red white role play, like the trust that you need and the dedication and finding the right group is like super essential, because not every group is gonna want to play characters that do a smooch on each other, but at the same time there's that built-in arc and like you know where you're going, and so it's the same sort of tension, right? But it's to a different end, and it's the same sort of trust, but in a different way.
That's exactly something that I love about these like small niche games that have the tone and the theme built into it. You don't have to spend that first like session 0 to 2 or 3 sessions being like, okay, what's the tone? What are we going for as a group here? You know, like what's our? It's like no, like you're saying, like Monster Hearts. If you're sitting down to play Monster Hearts, you know what you're fucking getting into, and that's some monster smooching. And you know, if you're sitting down to play like The Company or some other horror game, you know what you're getting into. You're gonna lose your mind. It's gonna happen.
You're gonna have a bad time, but it's gonna be a great time.
But in the best way.
Does Monster Hearts have a physical copy?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Monster Hearts 2 has physical copies. Avery Alders.
If I'm not mistaken, Monster Hearts is powered by the Apocalypse system, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Correctamundo.
Very nice.
And I don't know the third one that you mentioned, but Pasión de las Pasiones is basically a telenovela as a tabletop role-playing game.
Really? That's
fantastic. That sounds interesting.
If Mads, you want to host Lightning Kissed, it will be a 2-player role-playing game that a lot of people could watch, and it's very emotional and great. It is a role-playing game where the 2 characters end in a kiss. It's great. It's so good.
Nice.
But I will actually touch into this, having been a part of a couple of different ones in the same vein of what you're talking about, Vermin, with the since we did Violet Core together, and also Dungeon Bitches back when we did the playtest for that. It's particularly Dungeon Bitches because it touches on a lot of trauma and horror aspects as well as intimacy aspects. It really does play into the fact that intimacy and horror, you do have to have a lot of the same types of conversations about where the line is and what's okay.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful bridge between that conversation too. Dungeon Bitches was such a treat to watch everybody pull off. That it's like it was incredible to see, and I can only commend the authors for building what they did and you guys pulling off what you did, because that was wild. But
it's the same thing. It's like it required a lot of off-screen communication before and even after the session, where we were all talking about like, okay, this is what we're okay with interaction wise as a person and for our characters, to a degree, we all talked about like what was in our backstories. This is kind of the traumas and things that are associated with us. There's a thing built into the system where you develop connections with one another. And a lot of those ended up rooting in how, like, some trauma stuff that they were associated with. Like, as an example, for the connection with my character directly influenced a trauma that occurred with Niffer's character. So that was a conversation that we had to have about, like, okay, what do we want to see with the characters and things like that. Which it's the same thing with horror, honestly. Like, you need to know what people's triggers are, what's going to set somebody off, and make sure that it's an enjoyable narrative, knowing what's going into the genre, but also making sure that your players feel secure enough to have the communication to do so.
Tempest, I was just gonna say exactly what Vermin said, but I think it is actually worth bringing up on stream. Is it's like these conversations for like horror and intimate role-playing games, and the conversations had before and after to make them comfortable and something that everybody can invest in. Takes those conversations, sure, but it does take a right kind of people. Like, everybody has to be the kind of person who's willing to invest in that, or the conversations don't matter. D&D is prescribed for everyone. If the games that you are playing are D&D and you're giving your character in-depth backstories with traumas and the like, they're probably not getting the credit that they need because the game is not...
It's not pointing a flashlight at it.
Yeah, like, it's not designed to reinforce them. They're used as GM's tools to, maybe further a personal quest, but you don't really get to play with them in the way that you do for games like this. I've got a D&D campaign that I'm running right now that is really hard to juggle those, and the only reason that I can is because all of the players are invested in that kind of storytelling and do exterior role-playing with each other about these conversations to make sure that it's still a prevalent part of the character, and they get what they need.
So piggybacking off of that, I would say that yes, you can do something like that in like almost any system.
Yeah.
But certain systems are more equipped to better handle it.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how well I'm putting this conversation across because Are
you drunk?
Yeah, I'm drunk.
That's fair.
He had clear before liquor.
I'll be fine. I'll make sure I drink some water before I go to bed.
Take an aspirin while you're at it.
Yeah, that might be a bit too much.
Empty.
Buddy.
Hey.
Damn.
I've drinking all of my water and all of my liquor.
I've got like 7 bottles of liquor behind me, and I decided to touch on coffee.
I've got Dr. Pepper.
If we're bringing up Ninjas and Masterminds, I'm not entirely sure that system is well suited to handling anything emotional. It is, even by my standards, extremely rules heavy.
That system's a lot.
That's an interesting point, actually. Vermin, you write a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to pose this question directly at you. Okay. Have you found, in your experience, crunchier games are harder to involve like emotional connections or that deeper understanding as far as role playing?
I'm gonna so I have actually been wrestling with this question recently because a game that I'm working on right now called No Amount of Armor I'm trying to bridge the gap between something like Lancer that is more tactical and all about big stompy robots with something more intimate, which something along the lines of like Violet Core specifically, I guess, which is all about character and player relationships. And I think games can straddle that line. It's possible. It gets harder and harder because it's really hard to mechanize emotional systems in a way that feels good. The big struggle that I've had working on No Amount of Armor is making the emotional beats feel as impactful and as central to the game as the mechanical like fighting pieces. It's a lot to juggle, but I think it is doable, and I think there are systems that care about that. I have next to me a Robotech game, and I'm not like done reading this, but yeah, I fucking love Macross, and this is exactly trying to do what I'm talking about, where it's got all these rules for mecha shit, but it's also got really specific rules for like, hey, you deal with personal drama. It's just that not every game is tuned into that. If I can rewind half a second, for our friend in the audience, Tempest, if you look up the game design essay jam and you look up how to make your RPG/story game more healing/therapeutic by Maria Maison, Maria submitted an amazing essay to the game design essay jam about exactly that. Like talking about trauma, talking about like how your own character meshes with your personality, and how you can exert and feel good about the like will that you're projecting into the game.
Is this hosted on your itch
Sure
account?
was. I hosted the game design essay jam, which is why I know about it. There's going to be another one in December. If you like writing
There you
essays
go.
about game design, come join.
There's the link if you want to take a look.
Perfect.
Thank you. Vermin, please remind me because I want to check that out next time you have one.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think, unless there's any final questions or any final thoughts, we can start doing some outros and get poor Shockpoint to drink some water.
We said it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to reiterate it. But I loved how this ended. I honestly thought Davis wasn't gonna survive past session 1, knowing what I was doing, because I was like, oh, they're gonna fucking hate me like instantly and try to kill me, and here I am at the end of it.
To be fair, we did try to kill you session 1.
You did.
How different this campaign would have been.
It would have been so different, which I think is the beauty of it. Like, we could have gone a completely different route, but I enjoyed where it ended up. I thought narratively it was great. I loved seeing Portia's arc, even with Teddy being absent for the second part of this. There still was that weight there that Vermin mentioned. And even fucking Josiah coming in, being like, okay, yeah, I'm managing dealing with these two people, but I have this asset here. And just walking away with the most fucking trauma with the 3 bodies on his hands. Like,
hey, let's not discount what that poor park ranger went through.
That poor park ranger.
He was probably worse off, let's be real.
Like, he was absolutely worse off.
He was not trained for any of that.
He was nuts. Josiah might go into early retirement, but this fucking ranger's gonna end up in an asylum or something.
Oh.
He was trained for like bears at the worst.
Bears.
I want to say one more thing about horror games and about intimacy games and about like, taking care of each other. There's this concept, I don't know if everybody here at the table has heard about it, it's bleed, and it's just the idea that like when you're role playing and you're like in the moment, if you're doing intimacy, you're doing horror, you're doing PvP, make sure you're checking in with each other afterwards, make sure that everybody's feeling healthy in the moment. Bleed can be a wonderful thing. I know some people who love to play RPGs because it gets them to bleed, to like bleed their character and their personality, and then they have a wonderful romantic time after playing a game like Lightning Fist. But there's also the negative side of that, which is like, if you're doing PvP, if you're doing horror, if you're doing stuff where like the goal is to hurt each other, make sure you're checking in afterwards. That's the best way to take care of one another.
As with any kind of intimacy/horror, aftercare is important.
I feel like just honestly any game you should do that. Like, I do that on a regular basis with my home game, and we've been playing that game for 5 years.
Yeah.
But every week for 5 years, guys. This is how long this game's been running, and Shock was a part of it, so
Yeah.
he knows.
Yeah. Speaking of home games, I do try to check in regularly, but I fail at it. But I do try to check in before, during, and after every session.
It's good. No, it's important.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. We injured one of my home game players just recently. Like really just put his character through the ringer, and afterwards he was like, I just need to. Can we just watch anime for a little while? Like that was rough. And I'm like, oh, buddy. Oh.
I literally talk with our home game GM every time after session. It's actually mostly every day at this point. I'm so invested in my characters that it's absurd. But yeah, we talk all the time about how the game's going and like, hey, maybe we need to take a different approach to how this is going, because he's still kind of working on gauging that line. So we've been reiterating it since TPK Con. TPK Con.
That was
TPK
good.
Con.
Oh wow, and I'm the drunk one.
Shut.
You are still the drunk one.
Shut the
Right.
fuck up. I am literally 90 pounds soaking wet. Leave me the fuck alone. Anyway, we've been reiterating it since TPK Con, and even before that. Talk with your table. Talk with your table. Talk with your GM, and have that open line of communication, because you and everyone else is going to be better off for it. And I think it's overall a more enjoyable experience, regardless of the genre. Like, it could be intimate, it could be horror, it could just be your murder hobos running around in the Fey realm. Like,
Just
do
be
what you
involved.
do what you do, and talk with your people.
Y'all are friends. Be involved with your friends.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To keep things from doing too many circles, let me go ahead and get some outros here, and we'll say our adieus for this episode. That was a hell of a pose. Vermin, can you please like cosplay Rosie the Riveter at some point? Just give me like the guns. That was, god damn. So we'll start up in the same corner with Rowan, and we'll just work our way around.
Thank you for joining us tonight, lovely people. My name is Rowan. I'm Red White RP on the internets. My pronouns are they, she, and if you want to watch me do more gaming shenanigans, I've got 2 going on tomorrow. 2 p.m. Eastern. You can find me on Nerds with Dice for the Gehenna Principle. That is a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition chronicle that I GM. We have some 10th generation kindred running around San Francisco, getting into some shenanigans. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern over on Honey and Dice, you can catch me for Clockwork Vines, where I play as Sim Valentine, or very punchy himbo in a botanical steampunk Call of Cthulhu game. Is everything all right?
We're supposed to ask you about masks.
Oh, after. That's just after.
Oh.
Okay.
That's after.
You know what? I'm doing it now. Tell us about Mask, Rowan.
No, it was about stuff that we were talking about during the break.
In that case, I'll take over.
The audience won't have context. It won't mean anything to them.
Oh, I thought it was.
Oh.
So